across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: bid to free Stevenage man jailed for growing cannabis, second person charged with Buckinghamshire murder, an Easter disruption for rail passengers.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A petition has begun to free a Stevenage man from jail after he was found guilty of growing cannabis. The Hertfordshire Cannabis Club has described the 18-month sentence of Anthony Loftman as an appalling miscarriage of justice. More from Tony Fisher.
When police raided his home, they found 80 plants growing in his room with a street value of between £6,000 and £28,000. Loftman, who has a previous similar conviction, says he needed the drug to help manage the pain from his arthritis. The Herts Cannabis Social Club says the 54-year-old should have received a fine and is demanding he be let out immediately.
A second person has been charged with the murder of a man whose body was discovered at a Buckinghamshire travellers' site. 31-year-old Adam Fennelly from Dunstable was found at Nash Park in Nash last month. 30-year-old Gemma Price from Bedfordshire is due to appear at Milton Keynes Magistrates Court today. A 33-year-old man from Derbyshire has already been charged with murder. 7 party leaders will appear on the same platform later in the main televised debate of the election campaign. This evening's broadcast will bring together David Cameron, Ed Miliband, Nick Clegg and the leaders of UKIP, the SNP, Plaid Cymru and the Green Party. John Tong is a politics professor at Liverpool University.
It's an extraordinary format. We've never had any sort of debate with 7 party leaders involved, and the format would be very, very difficult in terms of workability. It's a big chance, I think, for the small parties, because in effect they are given the same status. This is a 7-way tear-up on air.
9 people from the UK have been arrested in Turkey accused of trying to enter Syria. Unconfirmed reports suggest the group includes women and children, but it's not clear if they were trying to join jihadist fighters. A man was airlifted to hospital after being cut free from a crash on the Hemel Hempstead Road just outside Redbourne yesterday afternoon. The emergency services were called just after 3:30. Network Rail says it's determined that disruption which delayed thousands of passengers over Christmas won't be repeated this Easter when it carries out major work in Hertfordshire. Parts of the West Coast main line will be shut, with Virgin trains running no further south than Milton Keynes. London Midland services are terminating at Hemel Hempstead. Philip Haig is a rail journalist.
Because the majority of people are off work, you don't have the thousands and thousands of commuters travelling every day. So actually, when you add up the total number of people travelling, it's far fewer over a weekend like Easter than it is on a normal Monday to Friday.
In sport, Liverpool forward Raheem Sterling says he's not a money-grabbing 20-year-old, despite turning down a new contract worth £100,000 a week. And the region's football clubs are preparing for a key Easter period, with matches tomorrow for promotion-chasing Wycombe, Luton, Stevenage and Watford. The weather: early rain should clear, leaving some sunny spells this morning, cloudier this afternoon, a maximum temperature 10 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
I'm still waiting for my computer to warm up. I don't know where the girls' muffs are. It really is, one of those days, huh? Everything's slowing down for the crucifixion and then the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. Ah, man alive. It's not really. Dope. How rude. Delays and drinking to excess. It's a bank holiday.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
What did you expect? No time. No time, no time. No time for you. No time, no time at all. I got no time, baby. Got lots of better things to do. No time at all. Burning from the rising heat to find a place to hide. The grass is always greener growing on the other side. No time. No time, no time. No time for you. No time, no time at all. I got no time, baby.
Never mind the furthermore, the plea is self-defence. Now, a petition has been launched in a bid to free a Stevenage man jailed for growing cannabis. 54-year-old Anthony Loughman pleaded guilty to the charge but claimed he needed the drug to manage his arthritis. The Hertfordshire Cannabis Club, says the 18-month sentence is a miscarriage of justice. Man, Catherine's got the details on this. How much of this of cannabis was Anthony Loughman caught with?
Well, when police...
The other one, please. Sorry, that's 'cause that one's rubbish. You know the score. You know the score. There we go.
Speaking of scores, when police raided his home in Church Lane, Stevenage, they found 80 plants, each about 12 inches tall, growing in his bedroom, with an estimated yield of up to 6.5 kilograms, and therefore a street value calculated between £6,000 and £28,000.
So not masses, because you often hear people say, well, a haul of £1 million worth of drugs. So it's not... Yeah.
Well, and this is the extraordinary part. The 54-year-old claimed that he'd picked hemp seed out of bird feed, and this was the cheapest way for him to grow his own, to get hold of what he needed to ease the symptoms of his condition. It wasn't all done on the cheap, though. Police found that he'd installed a ventilation, lighting and heating system in his bedroom. And once he'd pleaded guilty, the court heard that he had a previous conviction for a similar thing.
The Hertfordshire Cannabis Club. I mean, really? What do they say in its petition?
Well, this is a petition on change.org, which goes to Prime Minister.
Yes, I'm just going to Google the Hertfordshire Cannabis Club while you see...
Here's what they say online. Mr. Loughman was sentenced to 18 months imprisonment for growing hemp, capital letters, exclamation mark. Hertfordshire Cannabis Social Club feels that the most he should have received a fine, considering it's still illegal to grow hemp without a licence. But for a seriously ill man trying to medicate himself to be thrown in prison for 18 months is a huge miscarriage of justice, and he should be let out immediately.
And we'll talk to the group later on, but what are they saying?
Well, outrage generally, saying that the drugs are not illegal. Club spokeswoman Rebecca Walters says this is simply an appalling miscarriage of justice. Mr. Loughman's been in prison for treating his own pain in the safest, cheapest and most effective way possible, so say they. The sentence handed down to him by the judge was utterly disproportionate and showed a truly shocking lack of compassion. He was harming nobody. In fact, he was doing the opposite. The fate that's befallen him at the hands of the criminal justice system in this country should shock and appall in equal measure, and be a timely reminder of the absurdity of a drug policy which punishes the sick and vulnerable as if they were hardened criminals. She thinks it's time we moved away from what she's calling a system of criminalisation for cannabis users and towards a more compassionate, logical and evidence-based approach before anyone else falls victim to the insane ideological war on some people who use drugs.
Is it really hot in here?
It's really hot, and it's hot next door as well.
What's going on with the aircon, man? We're not doing the should we legalise drugs phone in. We're not doing that, guys, because it is Allah. But how can I phrase this? I got stoned with my mum once because she's got MS, and marijuana is supposed to be good for MS, and I kind of said to my mum, look, I could probably, I work in television, I could probably find someone if you'd like to try some. She's like, well, yeah, okay then, why not? So I got some what did they call it? Grass, weed. And she didn't smoke it. We had it in a cup of tea, and I said, look, I'll have it with you, and we'll see what happens. And we had it in a cup of tea, and like an hour later, she's going, this is really having no effect on me. And I had to point out that she had been peeing herself, laughing, watching Countdown, and telling me stories about what a dodge pot my granddad was for the last hour. So I said, Mum, I think you're a little bit stoned, man.
Countdown is pretty funny, mind.
This was classic Whiteley era as well.
Oh.
She was loving the cat. She was literally in hysterics watching Countdown, going, I don't think this is having any effect on me at all. Don't get stoned with your mum, kids. It's weird.
But obviously it's not something she pursued for the management.
She didn't like it. The thing for her MS was it's kind of supposed to ease the pain, and she's lucky she doesn't get much pain with it. She's got loads of other symptoms, but she doesn't get much pain. So she then went on a trial of cannabis at Reading Hospital, like proper legitimate medicinal trial of the stuff.
And how did that work with you all sitting around on beanbags at lava lamps? Or was it tablets?
This is the thing where I had to, because she can't write anymore, and I had to fill in the questionnaires for her. And this is the one where I had to say, I said, right, Mum, we've got a question coming up that I don't... I'm going to ask these questions, and then we're never going to speak of this again. When was the last time you had sex? When was the last time you debated? When was the last time you had an orgasm?
Oh,
hey!
What's that?
Whoa!
What's that got to do with ganja?
Whoa! It's to find out. It's to find out
Whether it
about
all works.
pleasure and stimulation of your mum's duty. Wow! Anyway, it turned out she was on the placebo, so that was a waste of everyone's time for 3 months. Let's have some of this.
Stop. Whoa, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, Mr. Postman. Please, Mr. Postman, look and see. Oh, yeah. There's a letter in your bag for me. Please, Mr. Postman. Why's it taking such a long time? Oh, yeah. I need to hear from that boy of mine. There must be some word today from my boyfriend so far away. Please, Mr. Postman, look and see if there's a letter for me. I've been standing here waiting, Mr. Postman, so patiently for just a call, just a letter saying he's returning home to me, Mr. Postman. Whoa, yeah. Please, Mr. Postman. Whoa, yeah. So many days you passed me by. I see the tears standing in my eyes. You didn't stop to make me feel better by leaving me a card or a letter, Mr. Postman. Whoa, yeah. Please, Mr. Postman. Why don't you check it and see one more time for me? You gotta wait a minute. Ooh, Mr. Postman. Come on, deliver the letter. The sooner the better. Mr. Postman.
I tweeted this yesterday, and I just tweeted it now. It makes me laugh so much. It's a Shreds version of Daydream Believer. Now, well, it's not quite a Shreds, because the Shreds videos are where when you've got like people like Eric Clapton wanging on his guitar, and they've dubbed over like really bad guitar,
Yeah.
and it's hilarious. This is like the Ghostbusters video.
The music list video.
The music list video. So it's Daydream Believer without the music.
Let's have a look.
But apart from the bit when they're playing the piano, but they're not really, and Mickey's hitting the tambourine. It's hilarious. So I just tweeted that at Iain Lee. But also look for the music list Ghostbusters video, because that's weird. And this all started with the music list Dancing in the Street. The Jagger and Bowie thing. They're very funny. The original, this, I guess, going back even further, started with the literal video. Have you seen those?
No.
The literal videos. So the literal video for Penny Lane is it's describing what's happening on the screen to the tune of Penny Lane. So here comes Paul, he's riding a horse, but to the tune of Penny Lane. Anyway, at Iain now. Maybe I'll tweet some more of those a bit later on. Let's get the travel news.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's looking quite quiet at the moment on the motorways, but looking really wet on the M1 and the M25, so take care for surface spray. Elsewhere in Milton Keynes on the A421 Standing Way, it's looking fine through the roadworks at the Kingston roundabout, but that could cause delays later on. And in Hemel Hempstead on London Road, there's electricity works going on at Two Waters Road, so expect some queues to start building up there shortly. On the train departure boards, though, there are no major delays or any delays at all showing up so far this morning. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, Sammy, if you could hear the conversation I was having with Kelly Betts while you were doing that travel. We're looking for remote control, and my suggestions of where it might be are unbroadcastable. 6:16. It is Thursday, the 2nd of April already. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A petition has begun to free a Stevenage man from jail after he was found guilty of growing cannabis. A second person has been charged with the murder of a man whose body was discovered at a Buckinghamshire Travellers site. And rail passengers are facing Easter disruption due to major works at Watford.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sometimes in life, things don't always go to plan.
It worked perfectly for 2.5, 3 years till 2 days ago.
He should refund me £1,900.
Which is where we come in.
We managed to get them to agree to come back in to the property on an agreed date.
The JVS show takes on your consumer problems.
I've basically lost the whole lot in administration charges.
And helps to get to the right solution.
I've received a cheque back for £578.
Jonathan, I can't thank you enough. I don't know how you do what you do, you and your team.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
What are you doing?
Just helping.
How is that helping?
I'm going to get you it on here.
Ah! What fader is Dealey on? 3?
Yeah.
Justin?
Boss, what's going on in there?
Mate.
You okay? What's...
Mate, it is a literal it's literally a nightmare.
It's a nightmare
scenario in here.
You're going to be crying yourself into your sleep tonight?
Oh, mate. Well, I'm not going to be doing what you were doing to get to sleep last night.
Yes.
No, not that. He was up at 11 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
Watching Pop. And bizarrely, they played a song that got me in trouble on the telly.
I wasn't going to mention it, but now you
mention it.
Yes, let's mention it. A few weeks ago, you appeared in the Daily Mail because you played a record.
Yeah.
And you thought, oh, those lyrics not quite right for the year 2015.
Take a bit of white man, add a bit of black man. Blue Mink.
Melting Pot.
Melting Pot.
You stopped it straight away.
Yes.
You apologised. It ended up in the Daily Mail.
Scandal.
Yeah, an absolute scandal. Last night, watching ITV. 11 o'clock, which is, I would say, arguably prime time.
Well, arguably not.
Well,
no, prime time.
No, prime time's like between 6:30 and 9 o'clock. I think.
Okay, not far off it then.
Well, significantly.
It's virtually late night.
It is not.
No, it's not.
It isn't for you because you get up at silly o'clock. But for the rest of the world, that's late night TV.
Well, it wasn't 3 o'clock in the morning, was it? So
no,
but on a week.
Yeah.
Working week.
A lot of people are still up at 11 o'clock at night, aren't they?
Well, OK, anyway, get to the point.
OK, so they were playing old 70s pop videos and they said, here's a great song from Blue Mink. And I thought, no, surely not.
No.
Melting Pot. And they played it in full, no apology, straight out there. They played it and they loved it.
Well, OK, fine. If they can play it, Justin...
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah.
If they can play it, Justin...
Yeah.
I can play it, Justin. Whoa! Where do we stand on this, guys?
You can play it tonight at 11 o'clock.
I'm going to play it now. Justin, would you like to introduce Blue Mink and Melting Pot?
Please don't get me involved in this. Okay.
Come on.
Here is a 1970s hit which featured on a primetime ITV programme last night. It's called Melting Pot.
Thank you, Justin. In your face, Daily Mail. Haters gonna hate. It's the name of my new band, and we're playing on Friday night in Luton.
I think you're headed for
Okay, I think we're Catherine, you got a little tuft. Got a hair tuft.
It's very tropical in here.
I tell you what, something has gone on.
I think something's overheated and blown.
Who wrote the lyrics to that song, Justin?
No, you got this one wrong. You think it's Jonathan King.
Yes, I do, mate.
I don't think it is.
I think it is.
No, I don't think it is. I'll tell you what, I bet you a clown breakfast is not Jonathan King.
What makes you say not?
I just get that vibe that it's not.
Well, because it's not about
style.
It's not about. It's not about some of the naughty things that he may have gotten up to.
It just doesn't sound a bit like some of the other ones he wrote, such as Hedgehoppers Anonymous, It's Good News Week, and Everyone's Gone to the Moon.
Okay, let's. We're on.
It's a clown breakfast up for grabs.
There's a clown breakfast. It's an Italian song. Okay,
right, yes.
that was translated.
Ah, right. So you saying Jonathan King translated it?
Yeah.
Nah.
No. I'm looking forward to that breakfast. Cheers, boss. Good bet.
Hang on a minute. Let me Google Jonathan King.
Let me just get that barrel on stripe. Yeah.
Gloria.
Let me just go and fight back my breakfast.
Fight back your breakfast. You're such a weirdo. Brannigan. Right, I've Googled Jonathan King, Gloria Brannigan.
Yeah.
Justin, I think I'm going to have a double batty burger and hash brown, please.
Where's the Ev first?
The Ev is on, what's the thing I like to call Wikipedia?
Okay, what's it saying?
Wikipedia!
Who wrote the song?
No!
Who wrote the song?
Gloria is a 1979 love song that became an international hit.
Yes.
The song was originally written and composed in Italian by Umberto Tozzi and Giancarlo Bigazzi.
Yes.
Oh, that's a big Azzy, thanks very much, says Nicki Minaj. Afterwards, translated to English by... Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome to the stage shamed pop mogul Jonathan King?
But he hasn't written the song then. All he's done is translated the song.
No, hang on a minute.
No, mate.
Translation is an art. And he's made it rhyme.
Yeah, he did the lyrics.
It's not his song.
He did the lyrics.
He would have been given a massive chunk of that cash back to the original writer because
Hang on a second, it's very rarely that Jonathan gets one of these days. But, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, it's shamed pop mogul, the discoverer of Genesis, the writer of Una Paloma Blanca, and the translator, nay, the lyric writer of Gloria. Would you please welcome Mr. Jonathan King?
Gosh, a round of applause.
It's been a long time since he's heard one of those, and credit where indeed credit is due, and breakfast where breakfast is due.
No, he hasn't
in my tum-tum, I want the clown in my tum-tum, via the mouth.
Anyway, guys.
Yeah.
Trains.
Oh, blimey, yeah, I knew there was a reason we had you here. Yeah, we've got to do this. Right, OK. We'll rattle through this because it's a bit boring, Justin.
Yeah.
Network Rail has promised to do everything in its power to stop a repeat of the rail chaos at Christmas when it carries out work in Hertfordshire over Easter. An overrunning engineering project caused severe disruption to services to and from London over the festive period. Justin, what is going on over Easter?
Well, chaos, particularly if you're going to be using the West Coast Main Line.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Justin.
What?
I can see this is going to go on after 5:30. We did.
I mean, there's only two answers to any question. What's going to happen, Justin? It's always either mayhem or chaos.
Justin,
right.
Now listen, because
Shall I get down to the facts?
Hang on a second, right? Because just remember, this is one of your many catchphrases.
Yes.
Oh, hang on, I've got the fader down. Here we go, right, here we go.
As you know, I deal in facts and not fiction.
Right, so is the fact, bearing in mind, we're the BBC, is the fact that there's going to be chaos?
Right, let me give you one fact, which should sort this whole situation out. If you want to travel from Milton Keynes to Euston on Easter Sunday at 8:37 in the morning, how long do you think that's going to take on a train?
I don't know, is it going to be chaotic?
Come on, guess.
From where are we going?
We're going from Milton Keynes to Euston Easter Sunday. How long do you think that's going to take you to get from Milton Keynes down to London?
An hour.
No. Keep going.
45 minutes.
No. 3 hours, 53 minutes.
Fair play, that is chaos.
Is that not chaos?
Well, I mean, chaos for me would incorporate some fighting, maybe, some swearing. I think it's just going to be annoying.
Have you been to a train station where they say, here's the buses? Trust me, I've been in those situations.
Are there buses
going to... It's on a Sunday morning.
Look, the West Coast Main Line, it's doubled, it's getting busier.
I think this story of cannabis has relaxed us all a little bit too much. Can you believe this is going out on the air? Look, I tell you what, listen, can we come back to you after 5:30?
Yeah, I don't know what the problem is. 3 hours, 53 minutes to get into London, and you think that's normal?
I'm not sure it's chaos.
I don't think it's chaos.
Well, what is chaos then?
Chaos is people fighting and ripping their clothes off and smashing chairs over each other's heads.
Go back to the original
Smearing poo on the windows. That's chaos.
Have you been to a train station at a busy time where they say, get on the bus and go to London? Have you been in that situation?
Yeah, but it'll be on an Easter Sunday morning. People are not commuting.
Who's going to be getting the train at 8:37 on Easter Sunday?
What?
Losers. That's who.
No.
Losers.
People that want to go and do something nice with their family.
Right. Can we come back to you after 5:30?
Yes.
So we'll do this again. Thank you very much.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's starting to get busy in Bricketwood on the North Orbital Road around the M25 junction 21A roundabout, but it's still looking very quiet on the M25 so far, but looking very wet as well, so visibility could be a problem. In Chesham on Amersham Road, there's roadworks at Clifton Road, which could cause some delays later on, and in North Church on the High Street, there's roadworks at the Mandilans, so that could cause some delays as well. On the train departure boards, though, there are no delays showing up at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. A petition has begun to free a Stevenage man from jail after he was found guilty of growing cannabis. The Hertfordshire Cannabis Club has described the 18-month sentence of Anthony Loftman as an appalling miscarriage of justice. A second person has been charged with the murder of a man whose body was discovered at a Buckinghamshire travellers' site. 31-year-old Adam Fennelly from Dunstable was found at Nash Park in Nash last month. All wards at Bedford Hospital have been reopened after an outbreak of norovirus, which has lasted over a month, and rail passengers are facing Easter disruption due to major works at Watford. Parts of the West Coast Main Line will be shut, with Virgin trains running no further south than Milton Keynes. London Midland services are terminating at Hemel Hempstead.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Liverpool and England forward Raheem Sterling has denied being a money-grabbing 20-year-old, despite there being no agreement on a new contract with the club. Sterling is thought to have turned down a deal worth £100,000 a week. The busy Easter football programme gets underway tomorrow with games for Wickham, Luton, Stevenage and Watford. The League Two promotion battle continues tomorrow afternoon with third-placed Wickham at home to Oxford in the M40 derby. Luton will check on the fitness of striker Elliot Lee and skipper Steve McNulty as they host playoff rivals Exeter, with manager John Still facing criticism after a 6-match losing run.
What it is what it is, and whatever we have to go with, we'll go with, and we'll work as hard as we can and try and get ourselves back into that groove. Again, when it's tough, it's when people have got to stand up. Well, it's been tough. It's been tough. I've had it great here. It's been tough. Well, I'm sure I'll get it tough again. Just go and keep working hard and do what you always do.
And Stevenage now level on points with Luton, host Tranmere. The Borough have extended Bruno Andrade's loan from Queen's Park Rangers until the end of the season. Second place Watford resume their Championship promotion challenge tomorrow evening. The Hornets go to 5th place Derby. In League One, MK Dons travel to promotion rival Swindon on Saturday lunchtime. And in rugby, Bedford beat the Army 47-24 in last night's Mobs Memorial match at Goldington Road. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Chewing the Fat with Justin D. Chewing.
Oh. Now, Network Rail has promised to do everything in its power to stop a repeat of the rail chaos at Christmas when it carries out work in Hertfordshire over Easter. An overrunning engineering project caused severe disruption to services to and from London over the festive period. Well, Justin, you've got more on this one. What's happening over Easter then, mate?
Disruption/chaos.
Oh, he's moderated his view.
Chaos is a man running around with a knife. Chaos is what happened in London yesterday when the pavement would set alight.
Yes. You've got to have at least one person screaming.
Well, there could be somebody screaming. If they're trying to get into London to see somebody they love and suddenly, oh, no, there's no trains, you've got to get on a bus, that to me...
Here's a thought,
signals chaos.
If you're determined to go into London on Easter Sunday, just drive. It's probably going to be really quiet.
OK, all right, then what about Good Friday? What about Saturday? What about Monday?
What about them?
Well, it's going to be the same all weekend.
OK.
So a lot of people are going to be put out here. I don't understand, guys. I don't get it.
Chaos is a lack of intelligible pattern or combination. You know that, don't you?
Look, it's going to be hectic.
Listen, you've lost. What's her name? Not Gloria Aniston. Gloria Steadman.
Brannigan.
Thank you. Yep. You've lost Brannigan. You owe us all a breakfast, which I'm hoping we're getting today.
No, boss, because I've got to go and talk. Hang on, I've got to go and talk to passengers about potential chaos over the weekend.
Do you know what? You don't, because I don't think those people are going to be going in. So let's forget that. You can go straight to the home of the...
Of the clown. You could go to the clown's residence.
But I've still not lost the vote. Surely, hang on, the good people of Beds, Hearts and Bucks are going to back me up here. Jonathan King did not...
He's going back to that one. I thought he was going to be talking about chaos.
He did not write the song. He translated the song.
No, I never said he wrote the song, mate.
You did.
No, I didn't.
He wrote the song.
I did not say that.
Go back and listen to the
Can we go back and listen to it, Kelly, to where I said who wrote the words?
If we're going to get philosophical, it depends what you think the song is. I mean, the song is the thing that is sung. He wrote the words, therefore he wrote the song.
No, he translated the words.
No, I never...
No, because I know because I do translate things. A translation is one thing, but if you do it literally, it's going to be rubbish. He wrote a song based on the original.
Kelly.
Yes.
Lot of work for you in the next 10 minutes. Do you accept this challenge? Because you're going to get a breakfast out of it anyway.
Of course.
Can you find the clip where I said Jonathan King wrote the lyrics?
Yeah.
Not that he wrote the song, just to clarify that.
Yeah.
Then can you find... Do you speak Italian enough to translate?
I can understand it, yeah.
Can you then find the original version of Gloria in Italian? Catherine's going to translate it.
I bet it's not exactly the same.
I bet it's completely... I bet it's even a different story. I bet don't even mention them thinking that she's got their number. All right? OK?
All right.
Never mind the alias she's been living under.
So what work's taking place over Easter then, Just?
Chaos. No, in all seriousness, the line in and out of London Euston will be closed for 4 days over the Easter bank holiday weekend to allow Network Rail to carry out some work. So basically, no Virgin or London Midland trains will run in and out of London's Euston station. So services will be starting and terminating at Milton Keynes, Rugby and Northampton. There will be, and I repeat, no direct London Midland services between Euston and Hemel Hempstead.
Now he's put it like that, it does sound chaotic. Yeah. Or inconvenient.
Yeah, annoying.
Virgin, they're strongly recommending, and you're telling me it's not chaos.
Why don't you just get a coach? You can get like a coach for £1.
Hang on, he's going to give us the reason why it's chaos.
Virgin, OK, the people behind this, the people trying to make money, they are strongly recommending that passengers do not travel between Good Friday and Easter Monday.
Yeah, because they've got works going on.
That's a train company saying
that. But do you know why they put the works on then, Justin? Because no one will be using them.
Well, they think that nobody will be using them.
Except one man who's having chaos by himself.
But in saying that, if you want to get a train elsewhere, a lot of people, I'm sure, over the weekend, would love to go into the capital to enjoy the sights and the sounds with their family.
Sounds?
In London.
What sounds?
You know, nice sounds. The sounds of buses and taxis and ambulances and police cars.
OK. What are Network Rail saying?
Network Rail, what they're saying is basically what you just said a moment ago, that obviously that there's going to be disruption, but they have to carry out this type of work, and they've been liaising closely with the train operators to do this at what they think will be a quieter time on the railways, which I disagree with.
Okay.
Well, we know. We noticed that.
Justin, we'll speak to you just before 7.
You don't want to go to a train station this morning?
I mean, yeah.
No one's bothered, are they?
Yeah.
OK.
No.
Yeah?
Look.
I mean, do you want a breakfast or do you want a box of people that go and not bothered?
I'm aware that we're abusing not only our position, but Justin's position as a man who doesn't do much work.
You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll come back in 10.
And these are some of the sounds that you won't be able to hear in London because you can't get the train there because of the chaos at Milton Keynes. Thank you, Justin.
Carnaby Street. Swinging London, Marble Arch to Regent Street. Swinging London, Hyde Park Corner, Leicester Square. Swinging London, everywhere it's in the air. Swinging London, swinging London, Hyde Park Corner, Oxford Street. Swinging London, Chelsea Strand and Baker Street. Swinging London, Charing Cross, Trafalgar Square. Swinging London, everywhere it's in the air. Swinging London, swinging London, Lambeth Walk and Battersea, Hammersmith on ITV, Humperdinck on BBC. Going on and on, day and night long. Swinging London, swinging London. Ding dong, ding dong, dong ding ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, dong ding ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, dong ding ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, dong ding ding dong. Action movies, theatre news. Swinging London, beat production, soul and blues. Swinging London, revolution underground. Swinging London, groupies, hippies, tramps around. Swinging London, swinging London, kings of fashion, Mary Quants. Swinging London, discotheques and restaurants. Swinging London, striptease joints, casino pubs. Swinging London, bingo halls and playboy clubs. Swinging London, swinging London, northern, east and south and west. Party's fun is still the best. Riley stuff will never rest. Going on and on, day and night long. Swinging London, swinging London. Ding dong, ding dong, dong ding ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, dong ding ding dong.
Okay, we'll speak to Justin a little bit later on, and we're going to. You're Justin Dealey, and I claim my £5. Well, they used to do that in the 70s. Our man from the newspaper will be wandering through the streets of Bedford between 12 and 2 on Thursday afternoon. If you spot him and go up to him and say the phrase that pays, you'll win £5. You're the man from the paper, and I'll claim my £5. 08459 455 555. I'm talking about that gentleman who got sentenced to 18 months for growing cannabis. I was growing. I have a friend of mine who's excellent at identifying plants, the flora and indeed the fauna. And when I moved into a house about 4 years ago, I don't live there now. He came round and he said, "Right, well, that's daffodil. That's a turnip. I don't know plants. I don't know what the plants are, Kelly. I don't know." But he would come round, and he saw one, and he said, "Oh, that's a cheeky plant." I said, "What do you mean cheeky?" He said, "That's the type of closed poppy that grows the good heroin." Hey, Chihuahua. Hey, Chihuahua. We have. We'll do the Gloria when Justin comes back.
Well, I was going to say, I've just sent you a message with the literal translation of the Italian, and it's what I thought.
Where have you
nothing
sent it
like
to
that in your EMPS.
Okay, well, we'll get Justin on before.
It's
before
nothing like what Jonathan King wrote.
Let's just Just.
He's up.
He's back. I'm just worried, Justin. Because the BBC have really lost their cojones since Jonathan Ross and Russell Brand. They've lost their cojones, and now they've got all these anti-bullying campaigns, and you can't bully people, and you can't abuse them on air, and you can't, because of certain members of presentation stuff, you can't go up to girls behind them and jiggle their boobs and give them a horse bite on their neck. You can't do any of this stuff.
What's a horse bite?
Sorry?
What's a horse bite?
I'll I'll show you later.
No.
on.
Where is this going?
What it is, and I can't find. I've lost all my good clips. It's political correctness gone mad.
Yes,
is what it is. Okay.
That's somebody.
Bye.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. But are you okay with us basically poning you on the radio?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, first things first.
You try, go on.
You claim I said that it's who wrote the song.
Which song are we talking about?
Oh, for crying out!
Gloria.
You claim I said who wrote
a song you don't even know about or can't even say. Yeah, okay, go on.
You said I wrote the song. You said, do you know who wrote the song?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you claim I said?
Yes.
Okay, have a listen. Who wrote the lyrics to that song, Justin?
No, you got this one wrong. You think
Thank you, Justin. So I didn't say who wrote the song.
Who wrote?
Who wrote the lyrics?
Yeah, who wrote?
Yeah,
lyrics.
Well,
lyrics,
okay.
that means song.
Yeah.
Who wrote the song?
Okay, and then
lyrics
you
is a
said
song.
he only translated it. Okay, so just give us the first verse of Gloria, if you can remember the words.
Gloria, 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 Gloria.
Yeah, the actual, it goes into the... Does it go, I miss you in the air, I miss you in my hand? No? Does it say, that works slowly, I miss the lips that I don't touch anymore? Does it say that?
I don't know, you tell me.
No, because Jonathan King wrote a different song.
Oh, right.
And that's the translation. That would be the literal translation.
Basically, Justin, King wrote the lyrics, you owe me a breakfast.
Whoa. So the original writer, you're telling me, got no royalties and no cash?
No, that wasn't the argument.
No?
We didn't say, hey, guess who made the money from Gloria by Laura Branigan.
But listen, he's taken a song.
Yeah, but he's not translated it.
He's not translated it.
He's
In the
just wrote a
same
song.
way that, who's the wee man with the black hair who didn't really translate My Way? He rewrote the lyrics to My Way.
Is it not Charles?
No. It's the wee fella.
Anchor.
I beg your pardon, I'm just trying to remember. Oh, Paul Anka, yes. So, Paul Anka wrote the lyrics to My Way. He didn't translate it from the original French.
Yeah.
And Pop Paedophile, Jonathan King, wrote the lyrics, the English lyrics. He didn't translate them.
I'm still not having it.
Well, I don't care if you have it or not. I'm having a McDonald's.
Yeah. Say, please.
No, I don't need to say...
I think it's just gone politically correct.
Yes, it has.
You going to say please?
I'm not going to say please. You lost the bet.
No, I've not lost the bet. Not technically, no. I'm still standing by that, and I'm sure that the good people across Beds, Herts and Bucks will agree with me this morning that you're trying to mug me off, basically. And you know what? I'm going to stand my ground on this one.
Well, stand in a queue.
08459 455 555. If anybody's still listening to this utter guff, who's right and indeed who is wrong here? Is it Lee or Dealey?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Thank you.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's getting busier on the M25, anti-clockwise, starting to build up between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford, and it's also looking busy at junction 16 for the M40. In High Wycombe on the A404 Marlow Hill, there's some temporary traffic lights by the leisure centre just before Marlow Road, which could cause some queues later on, but they're not causing any delays at the moment on the speed sensors. And in Hatfield on the Great North Road, there's also some temporary traffic lights at St Albans Road East, but they're not causing any delays so far. On the trains, the 7:20 service from Watford Junction to Milton Keynes Central is delayed. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 6:46. It's Thursday, the 2nd of April. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A petition has begun to free a Stevenage man from jail after he was found guilty of growing cannabis. A second person has been charged with the murder of a man whose body was discovered at a Buckinghamshire travellers' site. And rail passengers are facing Easter disruption due to major works at Watford. Let's get the weather. Here's Elizabeth.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, good morning. It's not a particularly nice start out there across the three counties. The further north and east you are, the better the start to the day. See some brightness developing here over the next couple of hours or so. But elsewhere, we've seen some rain around and it's a bit of a damp start. Lots of low cloud around. Still a few more outbreaks to come just through the early morning period. And then that will all clear away and things will generally cheer up, actually. So it will turn bright rather than sunny through the rest of the morning. and then into the certainly by the time we get to the end of the afternoon, eastern areas of the three counties at least should see some sunshine. Actually, it will be dry. The winds are a lot lighter than they have been recently, so not as blustery, and we're looking at top temperatures of around 10 or 11 degrees, 52 in Fahrenheit. Overnight tonight we start to get a return of all that cloud, all of that rain, and we'll see overnight lows of around 6 or 7 degrees, so it will be a mild night to come. And then as we head into the Easter bank holiday weekend, well, tomorrow's going to be the day to stay in. There'll be plenty more outbreaks of rain, lots of cloud around, dribs and drabs of rain through the day. Saturday, Sunday, Monday though looking dry, and there'll be a few cloud breaks. Where we get the cloud breaks, then the temperatures will get up to around 12 or 13 degrees, so yeah, not looking too bad. That's the forecast.
Easter weekend should mean having a break and spending time with the family. Not for Three Counties Sport.
And Alex Lawless has fired Luton Town in front with just 40 seconds gone.
We'll be spending our weekend with all our local teams. Starting tomorrow. We're live from 2 as Luton, Stevenage and Wickham are all in action.
It's dropped into the net and Stevenage have taken the lead. Goal! Wickham Wanderers have opened the scoring. Poor defended by Dagenham and Redbridge.
Then in the evening, Watford travel to promotion-chasing Derby.
And Watford double their lead, and they have the 3 points here.
You can hear all 4 games with Three Counties Sport. Tomorrow from 2 here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
We haven't done any of the stories in the papers, and there are loads.
Yeah.
And we've got to play the BBC introducing song because they've been cyberbullying me. But before that, Justin.
Yes, sir.
Who are you talking to?
There's somebody on the streets. Give me a wave. Morning.
Right. So, Kelly, you read the first... I'll read the first line of the Italian version. Then you read the English translation.
Okay.
I miss you in the air.
Gloria, you're always on the run now.
Oh, no, hang on. Maybe that's the chorus. Okay, right.
No,
hang on.
this is the first bit.
Okay. I miss you in my hand.
Running after somebody. You've got to get him somehow.
That works slowly.
I think you've got to slow down before you start to blow it.
Blimey.
Well, this one does tie in. I miss that lips.
I think you're headed for a breakdown, so be careful not to show it.
That I don't touch anymore.
You really don't remember. Was it something that he said?
Different song altogether, mate. I look forward to... Tell you what, Just. I'll have 2 HBs today, 2 hash browns.
Why don't you just Google the song and see who comes up under that track in brackets as the songwriter? It will not be Jonathan King.
I've just done it. He's not the songwriter.
He wrote the lyrics.
I've just done it, mate.
Justin, give it up, mate.
You guys give it up. You keep coming back to it. If you know you're right, why do you keep coming back to it?
Because you're getting on my nerves.
Oh, you're getting on my nerves.
You're getting on my nerves.
My nerves more.
You're getting on my nerves even more. Yeah?
All right, mate.
Thank you. What's in the papers?
Well, this is on the front page of The Independent. Teachers face a storm of bullying by parents.
Oh.
Teachers are increasingly being abused online by their pupils' parents, with growing numbers forced to endure personal insults, sexual smears and even threats.
Sexual smears.
Oy.
Reminds me of my student days.
Wow. New research shows that parents rather than children are the driving force behind a sharp rise in the number of teachers complaining of being abused on social media.
Yeah.
Now, what on earth could they do about that? How about not being on Facebook?
You've got all the papers
in an obvious way. I just picked up the pile.
Give us the mirror, mate. There's loads in the mirror.
I have friends who are teachers. They're not on Facebook under their own names. There's a way round it.
Here's the thing. I'm always suspicious of the world's oldest person.
Yeah, and you know...
No, I'm not. I'm always suspicious of the world's second oldest person.
Oh, right.
The oldest person dies at 117.
Yeah, and did you see the pictures of her?
No, I don't.
Bless her. Do you know what? It didn't look like fun being 117.
No. Well, the world's oldest person, Misawa Okawa, she's Japanese, died yesterday at 117. The title now passes to Gertrude Weaver of the US at 116.
Where was she yesterday?
Exactly. Has she been ruled out of the investigations? But then, so you think it doesn't look fun to live
117
to that long? Give me the Mail. Page 15 of the Mail.
Right, OK, let's have a look.
It's a scary glimpse into what you would consider to be a hellish future. Could humans one day live to 500?
Oh, I don't fancy it.
That's what a group of eccentric billionaires believe, and they're spending fortunes on the research they hope will make it possible. Well, eccentric billionaires, people didn't think that it would be easy to live to 36 many years ago, and now look at us.
Yeah, but...
You're like almost double that. The ancients believed in a magical elixir. Tom Leonard in New York is not taking this seriously.
No, he's having a laugh.
One day we will live to 500. But don't pull that face.
Yeah, I don't fancy it. Just count me out.
Well, it will happen. Chinese emperors chased the dream by consuming long-lasting precious substances such as jade and gold, often with fatal effects. Well, yeah.
Well, that backfired.
Although, if you go to posh restaurants, you can eat gold.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't that weird? You can get pudding with gold on. Honestly, imagine I'll have a pudding. Have you got any gold pudding? Yeah, I'll have some of that. It's got gold on
Do
it.
they come round with a thing like this, sprinkling parmesan?
Kind of.
Gold?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Thing is, though, don't taste anything.
Elizabeth Bathory, a 16th century Transylvanian countess, steady, dubbed Lady Dracula, made a more drastic attempt to conquer death by bathing in the blood of the young girls. Trust me, don't work. Today, the quest to prolong human life indefinitely...
Oh, you missed out the next paragraph.
I was getting bored of that. Go on. What was it?
One infamous scientist, meanwhile, would inject himself with a concoction that contained dog...
Semen?
Yeah, testicles and blood. At least he didn't have to drink it, unlike those Jamaicans who followed their country's secret recipe for longevity, tortoise scrotum soup.
I love a bit of that.
I don't want to live that long enough.
Don't energy drinks, he said vaguely, have bull's semen in?
No.
Don't they?
Is that why it's called a Red Bull? Embarrassed.
Well, you've just said the name of the product. You've libelled them if that's not true.
No, I haven't. I'm joking, because it's such a ridiculous idea.
No, it's not a ridiculous idea. I am sure that energy drinks, not necessarily that one, but certain energy drinks...
Gives you wings as well as others.
Stop making jokes about a specific company, for crying out loud. I'm trying to avoid illegal minefields. I'm sure... 08459 455 555 if you're a fan of those awful drinks.
I had one on Saturday. Now I'm feeling dirty about it.
Red Bull and vodka.
Oh, that had a very unfortunate effect on me once.
Some of them have bull's semen in.
No.
I am sure. Oh, wait, that was the chair.
They don't mention that in the adverts, do they?
08459 455 555. Kelly.
Yes.
I've been cyber-stalked by a load of kids online. The tides. The tide is high.
Nope. Tides.
The tides.
Nope.
Tell me, you've got 20 seconds to tell me about the tides.
They're called Tides. They're brilliant. They're pop punk. They're
What?
from Hitchin-ish area.
They've combined genres.
What?
They've combined genres.
Yeah,
Genres
very
that hate
clever.
each other.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how it gets on. Pop and punk.
This is their...
New Kids versus the Sex Pistols.
Single.
Who wins?
They should call it
It's
Ponk.
Yep.
called Spare Time.
Well, I'm sure they won't have any spare time after this song gets to number 14 in the charts.
I just don't know what you do in your spare time. Oh, oh. I guess my hands are tied, caught in your web of lies. You got me just where you want me. Without an alibi, you'll make me pay the price.
The tides. Spare time. Tides. The tides. These the spare time and their song Tides. Spare time, something these guys certainly won't be having, as they're going to be very, very busy on the chart show and Top of the Pops, and certainly getting those photo shoots in for Smash Hits magazine.
They'll also be running away from Maroon 5. He would be furious.
Now, are Maroon 5 the ones with the secret smile?
No.
Who was the secret smile, and do you know what the secret smile was?
Yeah, I've got a good idea.
Yeah, it was his girlfriend's smile.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 towards London, it's looking slow around junction 9 for Redbourne, and the A1M southbound is also very busy between junction 2 for Welham Green and the M25 at the South Mims junction. Also, looking at the M25 on the cameras anti-clockwise, it's very busy between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford, and it's also looking really wet on the cameras, so expect some problems with visibility. In Mill Hill on the A1 Watford Way, there are queues building up between the Apex Corner and Mill Hill Circus, and on the trains, the 7:20 service from Watford Junction to Milton Keynes Central is delayed. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. So, what have we learnt in the first hour? We've learnt that Justin's going to buy us all a nice breakfast, 2 hash browns for me. Jonathan King wrote the lyrics to Gloria. Oh, and lots of other bits and pieces.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: campaign to free Stevenage man jailed for growing cannabis, second person charged with murder at Buckinghamshire Travellers site, and rail passengers facing Easter travel disruption.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A petition has begun to free a Stevenage man from jail after he was found guilty of growing cannabis. The Hertfordshire Cannabis Club has described the 18-month sentence of Anthony Loftman as an appalling miscarriage of justice. More from Tony Fisher.
When police raided his home, they found 80 plants growing in his room with a street value of between £6,000 and £28,000. Loftman, who has a previous similar conviction, says he needed the drug to help manage the pain from his arthritis. The Herts Cannabis Social Club says the 54-year-old should have received a fine and is demanding he be let out immediately.
A second person has been charged with the murder of a man whose body was discovered at a Buckinghamshire Travellers site. 31-year-old Adam Fernelli from Dunstable was found at Nash Park in Nash last month. 30-year-old Gemma Price from Bedfordshire is due to appear at Milton Keynes Magistrates Court today. A 33-year-old man from Derbyshire has already been charged with murder. 7 party leaders will appear on the same platform later in the main televised debate of the election campaign. This evening's broadcast will bring together David Cameron, Ed Miliband, Nick Clegg and the leaders of UKIP, the SNP, Plaid Cymru and the Green Party. John Tong is a politics professor at Liverpool University.
It's an extraordinary format. We've never had any sort of debate with 7 party leaders involved, and the format would be very, very difficult in terms of workability. It's a big chance, I think, for the small parties, because in effect they are given the same status. This is a 7-way tear-up on air.
All wards at Bedford Hospital have been reopened after an outbreak of norovirus, which has lasted over a month. The hospital says their outbreak has been declared over, but with cases of norovirus still in the community, they are being extra vigilant. A man was airlifted to hospital after being cut free from a crash on the Hemel Hempstead Road just outside Redbourne yesterday afternoon. The emergency services were called just after 3:30. Network Rail says it's determined that disruption which delayed thousands of passengers over Christmas won't be repeated this Easter when it carries out major work in Hertfordshire. Parts of the West Coast Main Line will be shut, with Virgin trains running no further south than Milton Keynes. London Midland services are terminating at Hemel Hempstead. Philip Haig is a rail journalist.
Because the majority of people are off work, you don't have the thousands and thousands of commuters travelling every day. So actually, when you add up the total number of people travelling, it's far fewer over a weekend like Easter than it is on a normal Monday to Friday.
In sport, Liverpool forward Raheem Sterling says he's not a money-grabbing 20-year-old, despite turning down a new contract worth £100,000 a week. And the region's football clubs are preparing for a key Easter period with matches tomorrow for promotion chasing Wycombe, Luton, Stevenage and Watford. The weather, early rain should clear, leaving some sunny spells this morning, cloudier this afternoon, a maximum temperature 10 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
OK, I've just deleted... No, hang on. I've just retweeted, that's the word, the Penny Lane literal video. If they're far. First one wasn't the right one. Ignore the first email. Go to the second email. Breakfasts. I don't really remember... Hang on a second, I don't know.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
I don't feel that we really did anything in the last hour.
We talked about so much.
I was going to throw out some talky talks, and there's not really a lot to talk about.
Well, Snuffers wants to talk.
Oh,
he's talking about people who are properly old.
Hey, Snuffs.
Morning, how are you?
I'm all right, fella. What have you got for us? Would you want to live to 500?
No, probably not. But my grandmother, basically, my grandfather died in 1997. My grandmother then went into, this was in South Africa, she then went into an kind of old age residential home. And on one of these trips that they go out on, she basically met her first ever boyfriend.
Oh, hello.
A guy called Norman, and they basically grew really, really close, and they were basically best friends until she died in 2007.
Yeah.
And so when we would go on holiday, we would meet Norman, and we got introduced to his dad, who was... He died in 2002 when he was 105.
Flipping heck.
And he was born in 1897.
Yeah.
He remembers being on the streets of London for Queen Victoria's funeral, and he could recount exactly what he did that morning. But then even more ridiculous as well is that he actually lived in Liverpool and used to work on the ships.
Yeah.
And he was a cabin boy on a ship called the Carpathia. Now, the Carpathia was one of the first ships to reach the Titanic when it sank.
Yeah.
And his job was basically getting people from the lifeboats into the Carpathia.
Blimey.
He took two children, a 5-year-old and a 6-month-old, 5-year-old boy and a 6-month-old girl, into the boats, looked after them until they got back to port. And then basically what happened when they got back to port is there was social services, everyone was there. Basically, any children whose parents had passed away were taken and put into care.
Oh.
When he turned 100 in 1997, because he was a British citizen, moved to South Africa, he got a letter from the Queen.
Yeah.
He also got a letter from an 80-odd-year-old woman who said, I've tracked you down. I was the 6-month-old baby that you took off the Titanic.
Flipping heck.
And he was absolute. When he died, he was 105. I was with him probably about a month before he died.
Yeah.
And
you've been ruled out of the inquiries?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
And his memory was absolutely spot on. Like, it was...
And was he able? Because a lot of the concern about growing so old is being able to live a healthy and active life. Could he get up and do stuff?
He was absolutely kind of bright as a button. He would still get up. He would still walk out everywhere. I mean, his son Norman lived with him, but I mean, he would get up. He would walk down to the beach every morning. He would go out and get his shopping. He was completely, or probably 90% independent. There were some things he couldn't do, but at 105, he was still kind of fit as a fiddle, really.
Would you want to live that long, Snuffers?
I'm not too sure. I think I'd probably just be more annoying to my children.
That's the thing, isn't it? That's the only reason I want to live any length of time, really, is to spend as much time as I can annoying and winding up the kids.
Yeah, just slowly fritter away the inheritance.
Snuffers, thank you very much indeed. Well, there you go. You say you're still not keen, Catherine, on living that long?
Don't fancy it.
No?
No.
It's different.
Although I probably will, because my grandmother is 90.
It's different for men and women.
Yeah.
Because I bet that fella was, I bet he was still pulling, 85-year-olds.
Well, because there's more women than men, I mean.
Aren't there?
Not that I'm afraid of competition, mind, but,
No. You could always switch over as you get older.
Yeah.
Fancy that?
When I get older.
08459 455 555. Now, a petition. You try saying that, bless you. A petition has been drawn up in a bid to free a Stevenage man jailed after admitting growing cannabis in his bedroom. 54-year-old Anthony was caught with 80 plants and told the judge he needed the drug to manage his arthritis. The Hertfordshire Cannabis Club has described the 18-month sentence handed down as an appalling miscarriage of justice. Rebecca Walters is from the club. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Tell me about the Hertfordshire Cannabis Club. I was surprised to know that such a group existed.
Yeah. We're actually based on Facebook. There's quite a few members on the admin team. Yeah. We're based all around Hertfordshire, and we basically meet up. We try and organise educational events, and we're quite active in campaigning for legislation regulation of cannabis. Now,
yeah. What happened to Mr. Loughman? How much did he get caught with?
Basically, he was caught with around 80 plants that were, we believe, no bigger than 12 inches tall.
80's quite a few, isn't it? Because I know people that have grown it a long time ago, and they'd had like 3 or 4 plants for their own personal use.
Yeah,
so 80's a lot.
It is quite excessive. The excuse that he used, he was actually growing hemp, which is a very, very low THC. It has a compound in it called CBD, which is what he was actually after, the pain-killing effect.
That's the bit that gets you stoned?
No, THC is the bit that gets you stoned,
right.
Which hemp actually contains very, very little amounts of. So it's totally non-psychoactive. He wasn't after it for getting stoned, and hemp plants actually have a much lower yield of flowers than a cannabis plant would. So he would have had to have grown more to get the same amount that he would from a cannabis plant. In any case, we don't feel that he should have been criminalised for trying to grow a medicine, the safest medicine that was available.
I guess is the problem. There are 2 problems as far as I can see it. One is that he's got caught before, so you know, he's pretty careless. And 2 is the amount of plant he was going. Yeah, it's not as strong as some of the other stuff you could get, but he had a lot of it, and that is when the argument of it's for personal use becomes a little bit harder to buy into, doesn't it?
Yeah. See, if he had attained a licence from the Home Office for an amount of money, he would have been actually growing legally. So, can
you get a licence from the Home Office for it then?
Absolutely, you can. It's just over £500 for hemp.
And can anybody get that licence?
There are certain conditions that you have to adhere to.
Yeah.
But yeah, near enough anybody can become a hemp farmer. Obviously, not in the conditions that Mr. Loughman was growing, but that's the whole issue. Is that he shouldn't have been growing it in that way. We know that, but is it really right to criminalise him? He was just trying to medicate in the safest way possible. We don't feel that he should have received a prison sentence.
You've got a petition. How many signatures have you got so far?
There's 469 on there at the moment.
So not a lot.
Not a lot at the moment, no. And since starting it, we've obviously looked into the legalities, and he because it's very difficult for them to have distinguished it between hemp and cannabis, and once hemp is grown for the drug purpose, it does come under the Misuse of Drugs Act. So the sentence that he received is within the regulations, but we still feel that he shouldn't be in prison.
You're not. But now the Hertfordshire Cannabis Group. Your whole campaign isn't just the legalisation for medical purposes, is it? Do you all sit around rolling up fat ones and listening to Jimi Hendrix?
No, not at all. No, not at all. We campaign for. Yeah, I do like those. I do like them, but it's not our lifestyle. We're not what you would call typical stoners. I don't believe there is a typical stoner anymore.
Listen, there is a typical stoner. I've been to their flats.
Yes, there is a stereotype, but we are.
It's so boring, isn't it, Rebecca? It's so boring. Go out and experience. Being stoned. Go out and experience stuff. Go and look at. Go and you know.
I do. Oh, we do. I personally, I use it because I suffer from an all-over pain condition myself.
Oh yeah.
But I was drawn into the campaigning because I realised that it was actually a cure for cancer.
Whoa! Whoa! Hey, Rebecca.
It is a possible.
Right, first of all, bizarrely, there are some very weird rules about what you can and can't say about cures for cancer. There are bizarre, but also that is complete and utter nonsense.
It's not nonsense.
Cannabis can be a cure for cancer.
It is.
No, it's not, Rebecca.
Honestly, if I was you, I would go onto YouTube.
Rebecca.
Go onto YouTube and watch Project Storm.
I'm not going to do that because anybody can put a video.
Really?
Yeah, anybody can put a video on YouTube.
No, it's not just a video.
Yeah,
Hello there.
Good morning. Anybody can put a video on YouTube and claim it's facts.
Yeah,
and that is the kind of
this is a very well-made documentary that's been made over a number of years.
Oh right, yeah, and
it contains scientific evidence from scientists.
Scientific evidence from scientists, Rebecca. And how exactly does cannabis, in your words, cure cancer?
The active compounds within cannabis, THC and CBD, and many other cannabinoids within it. The active cells can actually destroy the cancer
No,
cells.
they can't. Rebecca, this is...
No, okay
No,
then, right.
well, no, Rebecca, listen, I've done far more research into cannabis than you would... Yeah, wow, man, than you would ever... Seriously, I used to speak like that. I have done far more research into cannabis than you would ever believe possible.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you? Yeah?
Rebecca. Oh, yes.
So you're saying that cannabis cannot cure cancer?
I am saying, Rebecca, that cannabis cannot cure cancer. That's exactly what I'm saying. I really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. That's Rebecca there from the Hertfordshire Cannabis Club, who I was getting on with quite well until she came up with the bullshine line, it cures cancer. Now, I've been in trouble before because I had a homeopath on who said they could cure cancer. And you've got to be really careful. There are rules. There's a really weird rule, which I can't quite get my head around, but you can't come on and say something cures cancer. So, A, that's against the rules, so apologies for that. But B... That's nonsense. I mean, that's nonsense, isn't it? And I was getting... Oh, she's got beef now. I was getting on with her quite well until that nonsense came out there.
It's a shame, actually, because the story wasn't about that. The story was about someone who is growing his own in order to come... Hang on. Anyway, so...
Does she want to come back on and have beef with me?
Do you want to come back on?
No, not really.
Okay, well, what's her beef that I argued with her? This is this is one of my many problems with stoners. 08459 455 555. Let's get the Trav.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's busy on the M1 southbound between junction 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road and 9 for Redbourne through the roadworks. And on the A1M southbound, it's very busy between junction 2 for Welland Green and the M25 at St Albans Road. Looking at the M25 though on the cameras, it's busy anti-clockwise between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. And it's also looking busy in Mill Hill on the A1 Watford Way southbound between the Apex Corner and Mill Hill Circus. On the trains, the 7:21 service from Milton Keynes Central to London Euston has been cancelled. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. We're not doing the should you legalise cannabis phone in. No way, man. No, lazy. Boring. Don't feel paranoid. 7:16, these are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A petition has begun to free a Stevenage man from jail after he was found guilty of growing cannabis. A second person has been charged with the murder of a man whose body was discovered at a Buckinghamshire travellers' site. And rail passengers are facing Easter disruption due to major works at Watford. And I'm facing major breakfast due to having a bet with Justin Dealey.
BBC Three Counties Radio. If you've missed any of the programmes here on BBC Three Counties Radio, you've missed things like this.
What can you see directly ahead of you? Is it a person or a wall, or what is it?
I can see my husband, which is not a great sight on this Saturday morning.
But there is a way you can hear it all again.
Leah said that your challenge is you've got to take a photograph of a male duck and a female duck.
It's Ladies' Day as we play 2 hours of the finest female artists of all time.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Great start. Love that. Grant Tufts playing live tonight on BBC, introducing In Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
Allowing you to listen to what you missed. bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio. Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
So I'm on the cancer research website. Now, they would say, you know, they make money out of researching cancer. Research has been done into whether cannabis can cure cancer. It's a long report they've got here. Virtually all the scientific research investigating whether cannabinoids, can treat cancer has been done using cancer cells grown in the lab or animal models. It's important to be cautious when extrapolating these results up to real live patients. Through many detailed experiments, handily summarised in cannabinoids have a wide range of effects in the lab, including triggering cell death, stopping cells from dividing, preventing new blood vessels from growing into tumours, reducing the chances of cancer cells spreading through the body, speeding up the cell's internal waste disposal machine. So it can have an effect on cancerous cells. It can't cure cancer. It don't cure cancer.
And we've got to be so careful with that kind of claim, haven't we? You know.
Some researchers have found that although high doses of THC can kill cancer cells, they also harm crucial blood vessel cells. So, you know, sitting at home rolling up a Camberwell carrot is not going to cure your mum of breast cancer.
Because surely, with the NHS the way it is at the moment, if they could get you to pick a few seeds out of birdseed and grow your own to cure your cancer, they wouldn't be spending a fortune on anti-cancer drugs.
OK, listen, I have spent far too much time hanging out with stoners and various other people who take all kinds of drugs. Whatever their drug of choice is, whether it is cannabis or cocaine or heroin or whatever, they will always find an argument for why their drug of choice is actually being suppressed by the government, when really it can actually provide life-enhancing, health-advancing properties.
It's the big money pharmaceutical firms, isn't it? They're all in bed together.
It's the pharmaceutical firms, it's the government who turn a blind eye to cannabis because they want you to keep stoned to keep you under control, but they don't want it to be legalised because then there would be chaos. How many people go out and have fights on a Friday night after they've been stoned? Well, actually, do you know what? I've seen stoned people having fights. I've seen people on heroin bent over double in car parks with blood dripping out the end of their penis. I've seen these, you know. Horrible. Anyway, so thank you for that, but we're not doing the Should We Legalise Drugs because it's boring, man, boring. Have we got any texts, Catherine? You've not got the text machine, have you?
No, it's here. Lainey in Hemel.
Morning, Lainey.
Makes a point.
Hello, Lainey.
If cannabis is a cure for cancer, Bob Marley would still be alive and well.
There we go. Thank you. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry.
Beautiful.
Thanks very much indeed. Now, Network Rail has promised to do everything in its power to stop a repeat of the rail chaos at Christmas when it carries out work in Hertfordshire over Easter. Parts of the West Coast Main Line will be shut, with Virgin trains running no further south than Milton Keynes. London Midlands services are terminating at Hemel Hempstead. An overrunning engineering project caused disruption to services to and from London over the festive period. Let's speak to Hazard Steckpool from Network Rail. Good morning, Hazard. How embarrassing was the chaos over Christmas for you? It was a disaster, wasn't it? Hazard? Hazard? Oh, we seem to have lost you after I took such time in pronouncing his name correctly. Has he gone?
Yeah, which is odd because he was there for a while.
Maybe we offended him with... Is he there? Hazard, are you there? I can't hear you. Well, no, why can't I hear you? I can hear... The funny thing is, Hazard, you can hear me, and I can hear you coming from the studio next door, but I can't hear you on any of my faders. Isn't that bizarre? I tell you what we'll do. We'll play a little bit of music, because I want to make sure we get to you properly. So let me just play this.
There once was a wealthy man who had a wonderful idea to bring children from all places with all kinds of faces together into a sailing ship. There were 40 boys and girls. They would sail their ship around the globe, so they called it the United World. The ship was just 3 weeks from shore when a hurricane bore it down. The waves were big as mountains. They felt they would surely drown. They jumped into the lifeboats, rowed away from the wreck. They didn't count them, they hadn't time. 5 children were left behind. The children fought the storm all night and finally fell asleep. They didn't realize the ship had been blown across a reef into the lost islands. Hiding in the bushes was a watchful pair of eyes, and living in the valley were people lost in time, ruled over by a tyrant whose face was in a mask. The children must defeat him so they can escape at last from the lost islands.
Okay.
The lost islands.
Let's try and speak to Hazard Stackpole from Network Rail. Now, is he gone? Is he gone? OK, we're going to try him again. Having a little bit of technical problems.
Yeah. With the more old-fashioned piece of kit.
With the old-fashioned piece of kit. Is it the phone or the ISDN?
ISDN.
The old ISDN. I never understand.
And the linkitude between that and the
There we go.
faders.
So we can hear him through there. Okay. Let's try. Let's hang on a second. Hazard, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
And I can hear you, sir. It's wonderful. There we go.
Amazing technology working.
Isn't it
morning.
funny? Of all the complicated stuff, it's the simplest bit that breaks down for us.
Hey ho.
The chaos over Christmas was a disaster, wasn't it? How can you avoid that this time?
From a Watford perspective, which is what we're talking about, which is happening over Easter, it wasn't. We delivered what we said we were going to deliver on time, and we opened the railway on time. Clearly, for Network Rail and for the general public, there is I suppose, a reputational issue or a perception that we don't hand back all our engineering possessions on time.
Hazard, you can't spin it to say that Christmas wasn't a disaster. It was a nightmare for everybody involved.
Well, for people travelling out of King's Cross, certainly it was, and certainly, certainly that was.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah, no, if you were travelling on the East Coast, it was certainly a difficult couple of days.
Difficult, OK, I'll give you difficult, but for the people that used it, it was a bloody nightmare, and you know it was.
Well, the reality, the reason why we do engineering works at this time of year, at Christmas and Easter, is less people actually travel on the railway, believe it or not. So the reason why we're actually shutting the railway down at Watford at Easter is because we're replacing a bridge just to the south of the station, which means taking that bridge out and putting a brand new bridge in 101 hours. So we have to shut it down. And from a point of view of the contingency of handing back, we've done a lot of work, and we've informed people months in advance that we're going to do this work, and certainly we wouldn't be going ahead with the work this weekend if we didn't know we were going to hand it back on time.
So are you 100% positive, Hazard, that this is going to be finished? When is it due to be finished?
Well, we will start demolishing it in the small hours of this morning, and we will roll in the brand new bridge on Saturday afternoon, evening, and we'll have the railway up and reconnected in time for the first trains on Tuesday morning.
See, I think that's quite... How are you getting rid of the old bridge? Are you blowing it up?
No, basically we're bringing in a very giant digger, which is going to just demolish it.
How cool is that?
And then we're going to drive in a brand new bridge. So if you travel on the West Coast Main Line heading into London and you look out on the left-hand side of your train, you'll see the bridge sitting in a car park at the moment.
And how long does it take to drive a bridge in?
It'll take a couple of hours. So when we take it out, it'll be completely demolished by about 9-10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then they'll spend about a day preparing it, and then it'll take about 3 or 4 hours to drive it in and to actually plonk it onto the spot.
OK, well, Hazard, listen, let's keep our fingers crossed it all goes well, and thank you for bearing with our technical difficulties. Hazard Stackpole from Network Rail. That is, fair play. That was a great little bit of spin. Well, it was certainly difficult for some people. It was a nightmare, but I do like the idea of... Sorry, breakfast has just arrived. The man who lost the vote.
He said, I'm doing this because I like you, not because I lost.
He's taken pictures. We had a row with Justin Dealey earlier on about who wrote the lyrics to Gloria by Laura Branigan. Of course it was. It was an original Italian song, and then British English lyrics were written by pop impresario and paedophile Jonathan King. Dealey disputed that. We had a bet. I won the bet. He's bought breakfast for the team. But then, have you seen the picture he's tweeted?
No.
He's tweeted loads of pictures of people holding up a hastily scribbled note saying Umberto Tozzi.
Yeah, but that's not Ev.
That's not Ev, mate. You just got women, reluctant-looking women to hold a piece of paper. Whereas someone has texted me saying that they've got the 45, the single, and it's got King's name on it. So
I think that's
thank you.
Yeah, that qualifies.
There's the F. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. You can text 81333. Start your text 3CR. Let's get the trav.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's busy on the M1 southbound between junction 11 for Dunstable and 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road. And on the A1M southbound, it's also looking busy between junction 2 for Welham Green and the M25. Anti-clockwise on the M25, and it's slow from junction 17 for Maple Cross to 16 for the M40. And it's also looking quite busy on the North Bilbertal Road at Bricket Wood around the M25 junction 21A roundabout. In Watford, looking at the speed sensors on Exchange Road, it's looking slow at Beach and Grove. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. It's nothing better I like seeing... Hang on. There's nothing better I like seeing... No, that makes sense.
There's nothing I like seeing more than...
There's nothing better I like seeing more than... my team chomping down on the clown.
Well, feast your eyes on this.
Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, girls. That is a beautiful sight. It's nice to see you with a smile on your face, a meat in your mouth, and a lovely, lovely grin. Thank you for breakfast, Justin. And thank you, Jonathan. Thank you.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Over 400 people have signed a petition to free a Stevenage man from jail after he was found guilty of growing cannabis. The second person has been charged with the murder of a man whose body was discovered at a Buckinghamshire travellers' site. 31-year-old Adam Fernelli from Dunstable was found at Nash Park in Nash last month. 7 party leaders will appear on the same platform later in the main televised debate of the election campaign. And rail passengers are facing Easter disruption due to major works at Watford. Parts of the West Coast main line will be shut, with Virgin trains running no further south than Milton Keynes. London Midlands services are terminating at Hemel Hempstead.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Liverpool forward Raheem Sterling has denied being a money-grabbing 20-year-old despite there being no agreement on a new contract with the club. The England player is thought to have turned down a deal worth £100,000 a week.
I don't think the public can see it that way. I think they just see it as this 20-year-old boy just being greedy. But I personally just want to take the time to think about where I have, what I've achieved in my career so far, and where I need to go and what I need to do to get better as a player.
The busy Easter football programme gets underway tomorrow with games for Wycombe, Luton, Stevenage and Watford. The League Two promotion battle continues tomorrow afternoon with third-placed Wycombe at home to Oxford in the M40 derby. Luton will check on the fitness of striker Elliot Lee and skipper Steve McNulty as they host playoff rivals Exeter, with manager John Still facing criticism after a 6-match losing run.
What it is what it is, and whatever we have to go with, we'll go with, and we'll work as hard as we can and try and get ourselves back into that groove. Again, when it's tough, it's when people have got to stand up. Well, it's been tough. It's been tough. I've had it great here. It's been tough. Well, I'm sure I'll go a bit tough again. Just go and keep working hard and do what you always do.
And Stevenage now level on points with Luton. Host Tranmere. The Borough have extended Bruno Andrade's loan from QPR until the end of the season. Second place Watford resume their Championship promotion challenge tomorrow evening. The Hornets go to 5th place Derby. In League One, MK Dons travel to promotion rival Swindon on Saturday lunchtime. And in rugby, Bedford beat the Army 47-24 in last night's night's Mobs Memorial match at Goldington Road. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Strange morning. I've owned a Justin Dealey. We need to send him out on something. Something will come up in the next 15 minutes, I'm sure. Catherine, you going to pop in, my love? Yeah, you fancy that? Unbelievable. You all right, Kels?
Yeah, you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What you eating?
Clown.
Okay. And you still eating your clown?
Yep.
Because you've got to do this story now.
I was just doing that story, that's why I'm a bit late.
Oh.
I'm just talking to this chap's son. All right.
Well, there you go.
As a young prisoner of war, he survived the brutality of the Nazi death march across Europe. Now 96-year-old Robert Clark is engaged in a different sort of battle after a council refused to increase funding he needs for a live-in carer. It means the Second World War veteran could be forced out of his home of nearly 50 years and into a care home, a move his son describes as like going back into a prisoner of war camp. Now, there's been a petition on this one, and we're going to be speaking to Mike Clark, who's Robert Clark's son. Mike's from Harpenden, and I've just been talking to him on Twitter, and we've got his phone number, and he's going to be joining us live at 8:20 to talk about why he wants people to get behind the fight to keep his dad at home.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Here's the question, and I'm looking forward to speaking to Mike. Is his history relevant in this situation?
Should his
in this
contribution
decision?
make a difference?
And we were talking yesterday, weren't we, about people who've saved up all their lives compared to people who've, let's speak in Daily Mail language for a minute, who've just signed on for all their lives, and both have to go into care. They will get the same care treatment, probably, but the person who saved up will have to pay for it. The person who signed on all their life won't have to pay for it. Mm-hmm. Should that be taken into consideration? And I guess the thing is here is, you're right, his contribution... should he be given, in inverted commas, special privileges? I'm not saying either way. I don't know either way. I've not really kind of got my head on this, and so I'm keen to speak to his son a little bit later on.
Yeah, and speaking to Mike, he says he's really keen not to pitch this as a political fight. It's not about politics at all. It's about the human side of this, which is his 96-year-old dad who's gone through an awful lot in his life and has given up, he's made sacrifices for this country. Why can't his country give him a little bit of leeway now that he's in need of help?
And I'm glad it's not political, because we'll have that tonight with the political debate. What time is that going to be on?
I don't know.
I'll be in bed.
Yeah.
I'm busy. What time's it on? I'm busy. Kelly, you going to be watching it?
Busy.
It's going to be like...
I hope the best side wins. We can do a red button vote.
How are they going to organise this? There's loads of people involved. They're all standing on podiums. It's going to be like the weakest link.
7 different party leaders are going to be talking. It's only an hour and a half. So what does that work out each? You do the math. There's about 3 minutes each.
An hour and a half of squabbling.
6 minutes each. It's about 7 minutes each. It's going to be boring. Is anybody actually looking forward to it? I mean, I heard a bit of the Cameron Miliband thing the other day. Oh, it's boring. Oh, it's so boring. And they're not going to... well, how is this... boring. I'm already bored of the GE. That's the general election to you guys.
The suspicion is, with so many people involved, how on earth are you going to be able to, dig each person out individually? Because they're going to be just giving their party political broadcasts if we're not careful. Anyway, someone will watch it.
Someone will watch it.
Paul Scoins, he'll be loving it.
Well, he'll be sat there with his sitting in his pants, watching it, getting all...
political.
All political. His wife... Paul, you coming out to bed? I'll be up in a minute. I'm watching it. Shut up. I'm watching it. It's my time. It's my time now, girl. It's my time. You go to bed. I'll be up in a bit. Plaid Cymru. Are they on it?
Plaid Cymru? Don't know.
Plaid Cymru.
I think they are.
Farage. I've got to say them all, haven't I? The lady from the Greens.
Scottish nationalists.
Ed Miliband. There's a thing in the Mail, the Mail, who are not a fan of Ed Miliband. It's page 11.
Right, go on.
Read the headline about Ed Miliband, and as they try to make you not want to vote for him.
Who? The Daily Mail? Why would they do that?
It's such a good headline. It's brilliant.
Oh.
Isn't it?
This is a bad thing because...
Go on, read it.
Now it's blubbing Ed. He sobbed at film about gays who marched for minors.
everything is in there. He sobbed. Gays. Minors. Oh,
blubbing.
It's funny that the papers...
Man shows emotion shock.
No, and it's funny because the papers are all kind of going for these sly digs now, as opposed to... there's very little of... David Cameron will do this if he gets in. Ed Miliband says he'll do this if he gets in. Nigel Farage... all I've heard from Nigel Farage is we'll get another bank holiday. There's hardly any... Where are the policies, guys? James is in St Neots. Good morning, James.
Good morning.
What have you got for us, boss?
Well, I was actually channel hopping. I don't normally listen to this station. I was just channel hopping, and I heard your interview with that woman regarding the drugs.
Oh, yes.
And I'd just like to say, fair play to you, hats off. I thought I was the only person in the world that actually agrees with you.
This is when I was speaking to Rebecca Waters from the Hertfordshire Cannabis Club. What was I saying that made so much sense?
Everything.
Yeah.
I've worked with people who have taken cannabis. I worked on the ships for 18 years, and the majority of the crew were on cannabis.
Blimey.
All I see, it just makes you paranoid. And everybody I've ever met are paranoid. And for someone to come on and say that a drug is good for you is just beyond me.
Well, saying that, listen, and I'm not. I don't know where I'm not completely against drugs. Okay, if we didn't have cannabis, we wouldn't have some of the best music we've ever had. We wouldn't have had. We wouldn't have had "Help" by the Beatles, for example. That's a stoner song.
Oh, very good.
No, but it's true. We wouldn't have had the whole Help album, the whole Help film. Unfortunately, is a stoner film.
Well, I don't agree. I'm afraid I'm going to have to agree to disagree with you on that one.
Well, no, but it's a fact.
Yeah, but
yeah, but
we all know that people start with cannabis and then they go on to stronger things because they get so used to the cannabis high.
No. That's not true. That is it's kind of true, but it's a myth. People call cannabis a gateway drug. Well, of course it's a gateway drug because no one's going to go, do you know what? I've never done anything before. I want some heroin. Can I get me some heroin? It's not because... It's like people don't generally start drinking whiskey. They'll start with cider. Shandy. They'll start with shandy, then they'll go on to cider, then they'll go on to lager, and then they'll go... You don't start... it's not where you start; it's where you finish, James. If that kind of makes sense.
Perhaps I'm ignorant of it then, because I'm so anti-drugs anyway.
James, listen, thank you very much. You may be anti, but you've got a really good giggle, so thank you for that. I'm not anti-drugs. I don't know what I am on drugs these days, and I don't really give it that much thought because I'm not that bothered anymore. But the people say, oh, yeah, well, of course, if cannabis, you're going to move on to stronger stuff. Well, you might do.
Not necessarily.
But that's not because of the cannabis. You're not going to wake up and go, do you know what, I really want some heroin. You enter the world of drugs through cannabis, but getting rid of cannabis isn't going to get rid of the other drugs, is the thing. A bit windy pops there.
Well, you see, now they've got the legal highs, which because they're legal
highs.
The youngsters think that somehow they're not dangerous.
Some benzo fury. Listen, I'm not against drugs. I'm not for. I don't really care. I find them really boring. And I know stoners that have had a really good time, and I know stoners that are really, really. I don't know any stoners now. I know one. Well, I know people that have had a really, really good time, and they're really funny and they're really creative, and I know some that are really boring and all they want to talk about is 9/11. Man. I had a friend who went nuts banging on about 9/11 all the blooming time. So, anyway, here's something for you stoners. Baker Sweet. See if you can work out what the story's going to be from this line. Baker Sweet. Baker Sweet. Baker Sweet. Who lives on Baker Sweet?
Well, Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
Well, he doesn't, but
okay.
Mythical.
So Baker Sweet, what could that be?
A Sherlock Holmes pipe.
Oh, no.
Can't do those anymore. You used to be able to get them.
A life-size chocolate model of Sherlock star Benedict Cumberbatch marks him being voted the UK's dishiest actor.
No.
Imagine...
He's a funny-looking fella. I mean, he's attractive in a strange way.
I'm Benedict Cumberbatch and I'm an actor, and I'd like to tell you about working with coloured people.
That's him, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
that was unfortunate.
That was unfortunate. He's an all right actor. He's got lucky. He's got funny eyes. He looks like
Posh, and Posh is in.
He looks like Lauren Harris. That's who he looks like. It's the eyes.
He's a very...
And they sound the same.
Tall, thin face, as if it's been slightly melted, so the chocolate thing could work quite well.
08459 455 555 is the telephone
He's
number.
not dishy, is he? He's not obviously attractive like your pole dark.
Or your pole dancer.
Which one? Hey, mice do sing, and not just in Bagpuss.
Sorry?
This could bring us a phone in, actually. I didn't think they'd sound like that.
Yeah.
Weird noises you've heard in your life.
I've heard moths scream.
I've heard a frog scream.
Yep.
That
hideous
is
noise.
horrible,
I've
isn't
heard Kelly Betts scream. It sounds like this. Okay.
Only a level only dogs can hear. It will be welcome news to those who love to watch Bagpuss and his musical mice as children. Mice really can sing, according to scientists who I would suggest should be working on something slightly more life-changing. Male mice sing like birds to woo females and change their tune depending on whether or not she's within sight, they claim. Researchers from Duke University, North Carolina, put male mice in a cage either with a female or just with her scent. Unlike the sweet tune sung by the mice in 1970s TV series Bagpuss,
I hated Bagpuss.
about chocolate biscuits, these sung by real-life mice are too high-pitched for humans to hear. But using special equipment, the scientists found the males belted out a shrill, complex song to attract a female when they could only smell her, and serenaded her softly once she was nearby.
Skynes, you coming upstairs to bed? Otherwise I'm going to fall asleep. You won't get none. Shut up, girl. I'm watching the political debates.
And then when he's gone upstairs, how does it sound?
All right, girl, move over. Move over, girl. Yeah, wake up. There you go, girl. Have that. Oh, your bum's cold.
Skynes, I told you I am asleep. The factory is closed until next Easter holiday.
All right, girl. Cold bum.
Do you think that she calls him by his surname?
Of course she does. Hang on, he's got a first name?
Who's taped over me leader's political debate? I was going to watch that tonight with the fellas. I was going to bring the boys round. Me and Peston were going to get a few cans open and watch that. Who's taped over that? Someone's taped over it.
Have you done soldier over the top?
Who's done Pauline! Who's done soldier over the top of me political debate with all the leaders? I was going to watch that in my pants with Peston. Oh, you know I wanted to watch that. It's the one where they leave.
It's like you're there. Have you been there?
A woman passenger yesterday admitted attacking a jet's cabin crew out of order.
Wow.
With her false leg. Almost in order.
Inventive.
Anne Bova...
No.
Anne Bova, 49, had drunk 4 or 5 tequilas at the airport before boarding last year.
She was literally
legless. No, seriously. On a serious note, Bova of Edinburgh admitted assault and being drunk on an aircraft before Crawley magistrates. She'll be sentenced at Lewes Crown Court next month.
She was literally, though.
No, seriously, when she gets sentenced, she won't have a leg to stand on.
Oh,
Hey!
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, queues are building up between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. It's looking busy on the M1 southbound between junction 11 for Dunstable and 10 for Luton Airport. And the A1M southbound's looking very slow through junction 7 for Stevenage. In Stevenage on Broadhall Way, that's busy in both directions at Gunnells Wood Road between the football ground and the A1M. And in Hertford on Gascoigne Way, that's very slow around 4 Street. On the trains, Virgin Trains East Coast have possible delays through Stevenage because of a problem with the line-side equipment. They're expecting 10-minute delays. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. Kelly Betts, what's going on there? You look worried. You look concerned. What's happened? What have you done? What have you broken?
I'm absolutely fine. There are some technical issues.
You've broken the
but no
telephones.
need to mention them.
Can you... can you switch it off and switch it on again?
Done. It's all right, I'm managing.
Well, how are you managing? Are the phones working?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I've just been on the phone to Dennis for what felt like half an hour.
Oh, flippin' heck. 7:46, it's Thursday, the 2nd of April. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The petition has begun to free a Stevenage man from jail after he was found guilty of growing cannabis. A second person has been charged with the murder of a man whose body was discovered at a Buckinghamshire travellers' site. And rail passengers are facing Easter disruption due to major works at Watford. Here's the weather with Elizabeth.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, very good morning to you. It's not a particularly inspiring start to the day. It's a bit cloudy, it's a bit damp out there, but things will improve through the course of the day and eventually we'll see things brighten up. We might even get a bit of sunshine, most likely towards eastern areas of the three counties. But not a bad looking day, I suppose, once we get over the next couple of hours or so, and there'll be still quite a lot of cloud around. Top temperatures today up to around 10 or 11 degrees, 52 in Fahrenheit. The winds are much lighter than they have been over the last couple of days too. Overnight tonight, though, we'll see a return to the cloudy, damp conditions, outbreaks of rain on and off as this warm front pushes its way eastwards again. Overnight lows of 6 or 7 degrees, so it'll be a mild night to come. Tomorrow is the day to stay in over the Easter bank holiday weekend because there will be outbreaks of rain on and off through the day. It's drizzle, rather claggy, rather murky, lots of low cloud. Still fairly mild though, temperatures up to 11 degrees. Saturday, Sunday and Monday are looking rather cloudy, but they are also looking dry.
Claggy?
That's the forecast.
Did you say claggy?
Claggy, yes.
Claggy, say that sentence in again, please.
There will be lots of low cloud around, rather claggy, but mild.
Claggy. Now, claggy to me...
Is a bit sweaty.
Sweaty and sticky.
Yeah, high dew point, yeah.
A what? A high G point?
Dew point.
Dew?
Point, yeah.
So, OK.
Oh, a bit damp then.
Yeah, but it feels a bit sort of muggy.
Muggy?
Yes.
We found a common language. My mum would call it close.
As the general election gets closer, we want to know what you really think.
Sometimes it gets a bit boring, I think.
But we kind of feel like nothing changes.
Parliament really needs a good shake-up.
We're holding a number of debates across Beds, Hearts and Bucks, focusing on the biggest issues.
The national health, I think that's a big concern at the moment.
Immigration, probably.
I think education more than anything.
If you'd like to take part and have your say, you can register your interest right now. Email 3cr@bbc.co.uk or call 08459 455 555.
I always do the vote because I think it's my right to vote.
Election 2015 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I hope the good guys win. Can I say even that?
Well, no, because what if the bad guys win?
Oh, yeah, I've not said who the good or the bad guys are.
Yeah, but someone will know.
Oh, yeah. Now, you probably remember this. This was you at the weekend. Staggering home drunk, out of your face, texting your mates and running up to coppers and kissing them.
Yeah, and?
Well, in Hitchin, police are handing out safety packs over the Easter weekend to help people who've got boozed up. Sergeant Richard Wilmot is from Herts Police. Morning, Richard.
Good morning, Ian.
What's in these packs?
We've got some flip-flops, some bottled water.
Some what, sorry?
Some flip-flops.
What are the flip-flops for?
Well, we've been amazed, really, how often we see women walk out of pubs without any shoes on.
Oh, yeah.
I think they go out on a night with these high-heeled shoes, and by the end of the evening, their feet are killing them.
Kath, you're saying you've done
I've done that, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's disgusting. But at the time, it feels like the only thing to do.
Oh, that's horrible.
It is. It's horrible.
So flip-flops, water, I can understand, of course. What else is in there, Richard?
Yeah, we've got a lollipop, a personal attack alarm, which probably sounds a little bit drastic, but and hopefully they don't need to use it, but it's there just in case.
Yes.
And we've got a blanket, one of these...
the silver blankets.
Yeah,
for the marathon runners.
Yeah, just some other useful bits of information about...
something to put on the end of it? Is there something for the weekend, sir?
There is, actually.
Good for you.
Yes,
no, good
is.
for you. I don't get what's the lollipop for, Richard?
A lot of organisations have distributed things like lollipops as more of a distraction than anything, really. So
stop them mouthing off, won't it? Apart from anything else.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is literally the idea behind it. It
like
does,
a dummy.
It does take people's minds off things. And funny enough, you mentioned dummies. They have been distributed in other areas of the country when people have left pubs. It just lightens the mood a little bit. And
so who's handing these out? Is it going to be coppers in uniform going up and handing these out? How does it work?
Yeah, what we're going to do. We're going to supply a load of these packs to the pubs and clubs in the town, and there'll be officers on duty as well, and they'll be handing them out as well, just to people who we think may make use of them.
Is it? And I think I know the answer to this question, Richard, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is it really the police's responsibility to be handing out condoms and shoes to drunks?
Probably not, if we're being honest, probably not. But if it means that the people who come and use Hitchin have a nicer evening, the atmosphere is as good as it should be, then we're quite happy to be involved in this sort of thing. And it paints a better, paints the police in a better light, I would say.
Who's paying for it?
We got some funding from the Community Safety Partnership, which is a group of organisations involving the police, Herts Fire and Rescue, North Herts District Council. We get allocated funding throughout the year, and the money's come from that pot.
And has it started? It's just for this Easter weekend, is it, or is it an ongoing thing?
We're doing it again this Easter. We did it across Christmas, and it was quite well received. Like I said, it put a few smiles on faces, which is the main thing. So we've looked to carry it on. We've had a few packs left over from Christmas, so we're going to distribute those.
All right. Well, listen, I wish you the very best of luck with that. Thank you very much, Sergeant Richard Wilmot from Herts Police. Let's speak to Roy Larter, course trainer at Hertfordshire Alcohol Problems Advisory Service. Roy, what do you make of it?
Good morning, Ian.
Morning.
Yes, you got the title right. On a first read, it may seem a bit gimmicky, and when I heard about it, I thought, well, there's an idea. I mean, as a police officer for 30 years, back in my day, move along, laddie, be quiet. It's not really engaging with people, and I think this is quite a novel, innovative idea, provided it's given with the correct message about keeping yourself safe. That's all good. But the morning after, we're very obviously concerned about. We see 20% of our people on courses have done everything properly the night before, but end up, getting behind the wheel, haven't sobered up, and end up on one of our courses thinking they've done the right thing, and they haven't. They're still, under the influence from the night before.
You say you used to be a copper, right? Should the police really be doing stuff like this? I suppose the argument could be that it will save them time and money in the long run if there's less trouble, but...
I think this is the rationale behind it, because you're actually engaging with people who have had a drink, and when the nighttime economy turns out on a retail estate or a high street... I mean, I live quite near to Hitchins. I know exactly what Richard's talking about on Friday and Saturday, and I'm trying to think of ways of engaging with young people without causing offence and, setting them off. I think it's a good idea.
Roy, good to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time. That's Roy Larter, 08459... Oh, hang on, why do I say it? This woman can say it for me.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Have you got anything in the papers? Before I dive in, I've got loads.
Go on, you go, because I didn't get a proper chance to have a look at them this morning.
Aftershave. What's the story here? Aftershave.
Aftershave that smells like meat.
Yes, it does. Wow.
Because that's what men like, right?
Burger King sold a flame-grilled cologne for 25 nicker in Japan yesterday, so wearers could be reminded of the chain. Oh, baby! Come on!
Women love that, the smell of burger.
We don't... and men love the smell of kebab. But we don't need this. If we just go and have a breakfast at Prizzy's, we'll smell of bacon butties for the rest of the day.
Exactly.
And this...
there's a niche in the market. A niche.
There's a niche at the door. You're at your wit's end. I want to play a game. Shunned. Cat who is louder than Laurie.
Oh, right, yeah.
A cat's charity is struggling to find oh, look, it's got its tongue out. I like it when cats put their tongue out. They just put a little tip of their tongue out.
Yeah, they're like the cats you draw when you're a kid, with the tongue out.
Oh, have you seen this week's, or last week's, this week's House of Fools with Vic and Bob?
No, I haven't seen any.
Oh, enough funny. This series is really good. 4 and 5 are not brilliant, but the first 3 and the last one has been brilliant. And there's a brilliant bit... Vic's getting ready to go to a party and Bob's working in the kitchen. You see him at a desk. And it closes in and he's just doing a colouring in book, but really badly.
Hey, you joke about that, but apparently adult colouring in is the new knitting.
Yeah, it's a big thing. I mean, he's doing it terribly, but it's a big thing.
Yeah, well, I think I might have a go.
No.
Bit of therapeutic colouring.
I hate to go. Oh, well done, and you've managed to stay within the lines.
Doesn't matter though, does it? It's just expression.
Anyway, watch it. It's really funny. This series.
I'll
really funny. Because she boasts the loudest purr on the planet.
Well.
12-year-old Bluey, who vets think is deaf. How do you know if a cat's deaf? Go up to it.
Apparently white cats are prone to deafness, aren't they?
Cold bum. Racist?
What? What's the cold bum bit?
Mrs. Scoins.
Cold bum girl, let me warm that up!
Scoins, I have told you! It's a Thursday! Her purr registers an unofficial 93 decibels.
Well, then what does it register officially?
Which smashes that of the 2011 Guinness World Record holder, Smokey, who could only muster 67.7 decibels.
But I bet Smokey wasn't even trying. Didn't know what the clipboard was for.
Officials at the charity Blue Cross, what was Norris McWhirter doing here?
You know what cats are like. If you want them to do something, they won't.
Officials at the charity Blue Cross fear potential owners are being put off by the din she makes. Claire Thomas said, "We'd hate for it to stop her being rehome. She's a lovely cat." A Guinness World Record spokesman said, "We're intrigued." Well, now what they do, whenever there's a story about an ugly dog, or a Google-eyed cat or a flipping pigeon that's got no feet or something, then you'll get 1 million people getting in touch. And we found a home for Bluey, the thick dog. And these idiots want it. Oh, we're so proud to have Bluey in our home. Can't wait to look after him. It's going to be a real great thing to have now that the kids have moved out. Kids love him. Kids love him.
Why is it always that guy when you do it?
It's the only voice I can do. Kids love him. He's so loving and special.
The Les Dawson.
What you got?
That fire in a manhole.
Oh.
In the West End. Now, you see these in America, don't you? Fires in holes.
No.
Yeah, you see the steam coming up.
You see that's not the same thing.
In films, and then someone, normally a baddie, walks through them.
The first time you go to New York and you see that that's actually real is amazing. But electrical fires under the ground is a common phenomenon.
Oh, was it electrical rather than...
Well, I don't know.
Methane.
Oh, I thought more. So you're saying that someone dropped one down there?
Maybe someone put a match to it.
An underground driver cut the cheese. Is that what you're saying?
That's what you're saying.
If you Google or Bing or Yahoo...
Or ask Jeeves. Can you still ask Jeeves?
You can ask him, but he's very tired. Takes a long time. I'll have a look for you. Give me a minute. Now, where did I put that thing there? That's
another voice. Well done.
Thank you. You can look up street fires, and there are loads of street fires. There are loads of explosions going off.
Explosions. Thousands of office workers were evacuated and 8 West End shows cancelled last night.
Yeah, only The Lion King.
Lion King's meant to be really good.
The Lion King is cancelled. We're late for the trav.
Anyway, there was a fire in a manhole.
Thanks.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, it's heavy from junction 11 for Dunstable to 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road, and the A1M southbound's very busy at junction 7 for Stevenage. Also in Stevenage on Broadhall Way, that's busy in both directions at Gunnells Wood Road between the football ground and the A1M. In Hertford on Gascoigne Way, that's looking very slow around 4 Street, and on the trains, Virgin Trains East Coast reporting possible 10-minute delays through Stevenage, and that's because of a problem with the line side equipment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, and thank you to whoever it is posting pictures of to me on Twitter with their cat's tongue poking out. I love it. Velvet hasn't done it for ages. It's my quick look, boys! The cat's sticking her tongue out.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: campaign to free Stevenage man jailed for growing cannabis, second person charged with Buckinghamshire murder, and Easter rail disruption as bridge is replaced at Watford.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Over 400 people have signed a petition to free a Stevenage man from jail after he was found guilty of growing cannabis. Anthony Loughman was jailed for 18 months after police found 80 plants at his home with a street value of up to £28,000. Rebecca Walters from the Hertfordshire Cannabis Club says the 54-year-old needed the drug to help manage the pain from his arthritis.
He shouldn't have been growing it in that way, we know that. But is it really right to criminalise him? He was just trying to medicate in the safest way possible. We don't feel that he should have received a prison sentence.
A second person has been charged with the murder of a man whose body was discovered at a Buckinghamshire travellers' site. 31-year-old Adam Fanelli from Dunstable was found at Nash Park in Nash last month. 30-year-old Gemma Price from Bedfordshire is due to appear at Milton Keynes Magistrates Court today. A 33-year-old man from Derbyshire has already been charged with murder. 7 party leaders will go head-to-head tonight in the main televised debate of the election campaign. David Cameron, Ed Miliband and Nick Clegg will be joined by the leaders of UKIP, the Greens, the SNP and Plaid Cymru. More from Norman Smith.
Tonight's debate is significant because it is the only time in this campaign the party leaders will go head-to-head. And while part of this evening's debate is tightly structured, part has what all politicians dread: the unknown and unpredictable. For while each of the 7 leaders will get a minute to answer a question from the audience, after each of the just 4 questions, there will be a free-for-all. Nigel Farage has already said he wants to challenge David Cameron over immigration, Nicola Sturgeon to tackle Ed Miliband over austerity.
All wards at Bedford Hospital have been reopened after an outbreak of norovirus, which has lasted over a month. The hospital says their outbreak has been declared over, but with cases of norovirus still in the community, they are being extra vigilant. Rail passengers are facing Easter disruption due to major works at Watford. Parts of the West Coast main line will be shut, with Virgin trains running no further south than Milton Keynes. London Midland services will terminate at Hemel Hempstead. Hazard Stackpole is from Network Rail.
The reason why we're actually shutting the railway down at Watford at Easter is because we're replacing a bridge just to the south of the station, which means taking that bridge out and putting a brand new bridge in 101 hours. So we have to shut it down, and we've informed people months in advance that we're going to do this work, and certainly we wouldn't be going ahead with the work this weekend if we didn't know we were going to hand it back on time.
In sport, Liverpool forward Raheem Sterling says he's not a money-grabbing 20-year-old, despite turning down a new contract worth £100,000 a week. And the region's football clubs are preparing for a key Easter period, with matches tomorrow for promotion-chasing Wickham, Luton, Stevenage and Watford. The weather: early rain should clear, leaving some sunny spells this morning, cloudier this afternoon, a maximum temperature 10 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Iain Lee, BBC 3 Counties Radio. I'll be honest, it's been a mess. It's been a mess. It's been absolute chaos. Did we hear Dealey in the last hour, apart from when he delivered our breakfast? Because he does more than that, surely, doesn't he? What have we talked about, Catherine? I've got no idea.
Cats with their tongues out.
Yep. Oh, loads of you are tweeting me at Iain Lee with pictures of your cats with their tongue out. Everyone gets retweeted. Every one of those gets retweeted. Great site.
We're also talking about...
the last one, Tammy, I've just retweeted. Tammy the cat. Because normally they just put the tip of their tongue out. Tammy's like doing Gene Simmons. That's like a human tongue. That can't be real. No, that can't be real.
You think that's been superimposed?
Yeah, someone's stuck a human tongue to her face. Anyway, go on, carry on.
What else are we doing?
No. That'll do, wouldn't it?
There was something good.
No,
there was.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC 3 Counties Radio.
Noises you didn't expect to hear.
Oh, yeah.
Because mice sing.
What?
Mice sing.
Mice sing? Who's that? An Indian fella that lives next door to you?
Mice sing.
Mice sing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what funny noise have you heard? 08459 455 555.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. I think we can hear Kelly's scream now. That's her as she falls off the edge of a building. Now, a petition has been launched in a bid to free a Stevenage man jailed for growing cannabis. And can I say, well done, everybody, because we've not done the should drugs be legalised phone-in, which would have been so easy to do. And a number of times I've talked about drugs on air and said we're not doing that phone-in, and then people phone up and say, yeah, but I think it should be legal. Boring. Well done you for all avoiding that. Sorry?
We've had a comment on the texts. Stevenage man criminalised for breaking the law. Shock horror, says Simon in Smallford.
Thank you, Simon. 54-year-old Anthony Loughman pleaded guilty to the charge but claimed he needed the drug to manage his arthritis. The Hertfordshire Cannabis Club says the 18-month sentence is a miscarriage of justice. Well, Jane Tadman is from Arthritis Research UK. Morning, Jane.
Good morning.
What is the Arthritis Research UK line on cannabis in terms of aiding the condition?
Well, we don't believe that it should be made available for people with arthritis for various reasons. I mean, we completely understand that people with arthritis, with severe arthritis and musculoskeletal problems, can be in severe pain that probably can't be controlled in some cases by the kind of painkillers that are available. And we know that there's a big need for better, effective pain medication. But, people must remember that cannabis isn't legally available. it can have some serious side effects as well, including anxiety and seizures in some people. And we simply don't know enough about the way it works on the body's pain passageways for us to even go down that path.
How much research is being done on cannabis and refining cannabis so that the side effects you mentioned would be lessened?
Well, that's a good question, and there has been some early research, and we ourselves have done some research at the University of Nottingham, looking into a particular compound that's part of cannabis called cannabinoid, and we looked at the effect of that on the body's pain-sensing pathways. And we found that it did actually seem to reduce pain. But this is in rats, and most of the research that's been done into arthritis and pain and cannabis compounds has been on animals, and there have been very, very early experimental pieces of research. So there is some justification for saying that, parts of some compounds that are found in cannabis do have pain-relieving properties, but we need to find out more about the way that it works, and we need to find out more about why it works and why it may have side effects before we could even think about it becoming a drug.
I suppose if you're in a lot of pain, and touch wood, I don't have arthritis, and it's not I don't know if it's hereditary, but it's not in my family. But if you're in a lot of pain and your prescribed painkillers aren't doing the job anymore, and let's be honest, prescription medication also has unpleasant side effects.
Absolutely.
If you're desperate, you'll try anything, won't you? And a lot of people do find comfort in it, don't they?
Some people do, and some people find different ways of managing their pain. They try alternative therapies, kind of legal ones. But there are also conventional methods that have been proven to work. And if people are struggling with the pain of their arthritis, the best thing to do would be to ask their GP if they could be referred to some kind of specialist pain management service. Most places in the country have them. There's a little bit of a waiting list. But, these are experts in people who can teach other people how to manage pain effectively. And there's things like cognitive behavioural therapy, self-management techniques. We know that exercise, weight loss, muscle strengthening can all really, really help people with arthritis. So drugs are only a small part of the way that you can manage it. And, people need to remember that cannabis is an illegal drug. So they know what they're doing when they take it, what the risks are.
It is prescribed in some situations, and some people may find this surprising, but it can be legally prescribed to people with MS, can't it?
Right, yeah, it's a nasal spray called Sativex. It's licensed in the UK on what's called a named patient basis, i.e. if the doctor thinks that you would benefit from this particular thing, that they will prescribe it. But that's only for people with
multiple sclerosis.
Yeah, it's not available at all for people with other conditions, and that may change as we find out more about the way that it works. Because clearly there is something in it, or there's something in the compounds in cannabis that do seem to relieve pain, musculoskeletal pain. So we're very keen to pursue it from a research perspective, but we certainly wouldn't go around encouraging people to smoke cannabis.
Jane, I really appreciate your thoughts on that this morning. Thank you. Jane Tabman from Arthritis Research UK. The positives of cannabis is it helps negate pain. The downside is it makes you think Bob Dylan is a good singer-songwriter. That's that. David's in Hitchin. Good morning, David.
And how are you?
Oh, it's David.
Yes, Catman.
Spontaneous round of applause didn't quite take off there. David, for those who missed yesterday's show, I know what, Catherine, why don't you remind us who David is and why you're going round his house soon?
David has, we don't know how many cats because you stopped counting at about 20. Is that right, David?
That is right, yes.
And
he's
also,
a cat man.
He doesn't think of them in terms of numbers. They're all individuals.
No, the way I refer to it is they are not numbers, they are names given with love.
Names given with love. The best way to give names. We're talking this morning, David, we're celebrating the magic of hats off to cats with their tongues sticking out. Do your cats ever stick their tongues out?
Not particularly, but sometimes when they're cleaning themselves, they'll stop and think and their tongue is still hanging out.
Yeah,
concentration tongue.
There's, I'm going to say Versace.
No.
Donatello.
No.
Karl Lagerfeld.
There you go.
Chanel designer, thank you, David. Karl Lagerfeld, 82, says his pet Siamese cat, Choupette.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, is like a lollipop.
Yeah.
Something that
was paid £2 million for 2 TV ads last year. Are you having a laugh? Have your cats ever earned you £2 million, David?
No, but it could be an interesting facet, couldn't it?
It wouldn't it, eh? Now, let's go through the cats we've got so far. We know that you like to stroke your little Frankie. Have you got...
Yeah.
Is little Frankie out now, or is he asleep?
He's on the windowsill at the moment.
Gosh. And the neighbours don't mind looking at your little Frankie?
No, I've got a wonderful neighbour who comes from Wales.
Turns a blind eye.
Oh, better than that. She's a wonderful person.
Does she stroke your little Frankie?
She did stroke Peggy Sue.
Is that another one to add to the list?
Oh, yeah.
OK, so the list we've got so far. Little Frankie, Stanley Dimitri, Yolandi Oliver, Dandy, Bambino, Rainbow, Sergeant, Bagpuss, Bob, and now Peggy Sue. And you're going to give us a few more of your cats today. Not literally, David. We don't want them here. But I'd like to know the names. Who's your least favourite cat, David? Which is the one that if you had to get rid of, you would quite easily?
Now, I've got a regular visit monthly from an RSPCA lady who keeps an eye on me. She's tried this.
Yeah.
And I've said, look, I'm sorry, you might as well tell King David to cut the baby in half. How do I choose?
OK. Well, OK. I'm going to cut all of your cats in half, David. Which one do you want me to cut in half first?
No such thing.
What?
They're all special. They're all personalities.
All right. OK. Here's the question, David. Your house is on fire. It's not. Don't panic. Your house is on fire, you're stood outside, you're there with your lovely neighbour who strokes your little Frankie from time to time. You haven't got time for that now, you're in a panic. You've only got time to rush in and save one cat, David. No ifs, no buts, no maybes. If you stop to think about it, they're all going to perish. You can only save one cat, David. Which cat's it going to be?
My cats are so good, I can carry 4 in one go.
All right,
I'll pick up the first 4 I got to.
And you'd let the other 16 die? Okay. No, I'm teasing.
I get burnt. I get burnt in the attempt.
Do you know what? I would get burnt trying to rescue my little Velvet from the house as well.
Yeah.
And people who haven't got cats don't understand that I would totally get burnt getting my little Velvet out, and you would get stung getting your little Frankie out. So, you know, both of us could end up in jail together. Okay. Who's next on the list after Peggy Sue, David?
Let's see. We've got Rover.
That's a dog's name, mate.
Yes, well, we had a Rover who lasted for 16 years. He's named in honour of Rover.
Yeah, OK, so Rover 1 and Rover 2.
Yeah. He's got a son called Revo.
Revo?
Well, it's almost Rover back to front.
That would be Revor. You was taking...
Oh, no. Revo is nicer.
Yeah, it is nice, actually. I like that, Revo. Revo, Unarmed and Dangerous. I think that was a film. I think that was a film in the 80s. Oh, it was Remo. Give us one more, David. Who can you see right in front of you now?
Oh, that's Rob Roy.
Rob Roy?
Yes.
I said, there we go. It's a new one. Look at that. But listen, David, brilliant. I tell you what, David, we've got to go to the travel. Can we give you a call? Are you doing anything tomorrow? Good Friday?
I've got to go along to a meeting later in the day.
On Good Friday?
Yes, Easter meeting.
OK, fair play. Well, maybe we could call you on because tomorrow's show, it's the Kath and Iain show.
Yeah.
So Kath's in charge. Kath's presenting. I'm her co-host.
Right, yeah.
So would you like Kath to, maybe we could call you up on tomorrow's show?
Yeah, what time?
About 8:20 maybe.
Oh, that'll be fine because I don't have to go out until about 12.
Oh, beautiful. We'll do that then, David.
Yeah?
Thank you, mate. Speak to you tomorrow.
And you too. Thank you very much.
Ta-ta. What a nice fellow. Isn't he nice? And he's right. I would if I had to get my Velvet out in a hurry, I would probably get burnt.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Same if he had to grab his little Frankie. And pull it off.
You guys go easy. Let's hope
the
that
window
never
ledge.
happens.
Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed.
Choupette means sweetie, apparently.
Oh,
that's cute.
Is that like Geppetto?
No, Geppetto is something else.
Okay.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Busy on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40, and the A1M southbound is very slow through junction 7 for Stevenage. In Mill Hill on the A1 Watford Way, it's looking busy between the A41 at their Apex corner towards Mill Hill Circus, and it's also busy on the M25 junction 21A roundabout on the North Orbital Road. In Hertford on Gascoigne Way, that's looking slow at Ware Road, and on the trains. Virgin Trains East Coast reporting 10-minute delays through Stevenage. That's because of a problem with the line-side equipment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you. Sorry?
Sorry, I got something caught in my throat then.
Well, put it back and let's never mention this ever again. Thank you to everyone who's sending pictures of their cats with their tongues out. Apart from Bruno, that's a cow. And Wilson. Jonathan, have a look at Wilson the cat. Isn't that the most hideous... We've got pictures of cats with their tongues sticking out, because I think it's adorable. But look at that leathery...
It's one of those hairless cats, isn't it?
But it's got human eyes.
Like a little hot...
It looks like a hot, I'll be honest, testicle. It does, doesn't it?
Like a testicle?
Hey, look at it, it's all wrinkled and it's got a little bit of fuzz on it.
I see what you mean, on the top of its head.
It's thoroughly unpleasant. Right, let me... oh, do you know what? I can't. We don't need that. Headlines. Headlines. You know, Simon will do them so much better than me at 8:30. Does your cat ever put its tongue out? Just like that?
No, he doesn't do that.
Doesn't pull a thinking face.
He does. He often drinks from the kitchen sink.
Oh, dirty!
He gets himself up on the sink and then he puts his head underneath the tap.
Yeah.
And he just licks it until a little bit of water comes out. Yeah. And what makes him really happy is if I just open the tap just a tiny bit, so it just dribbles.
Beautiful.
Oh, he laps it up.
Your cat used to be an indoor cat, didn't it?
Well, he still largely is, to be honest. He's not interested in going out.
Have you ever caught him doing a poo? Because the look on their faces when they realise you're watching them do it, they look so ashamed of themselves, don't they? So embarrassed.
I've only seen him do it once outside in the garden because he's got a litter tray.
Yeah.
So he uses his litter tray.
Yeah.
And there was just one time last summer when I was sitting out in the garden having a gin and tonic, and all of a sudden he kind of went over to the flower bed and I thought, he's going to have a poo in my flower bed. And sure enough, up he went, and there we go, and the little look of satisfaction on his face.
Have you ever sprayed catnip on him?
Catnip doesn't have any effect.
Does it not?
No.
It didn't used to have an effect on my Velvet, but now she's got older, it must remind her of her youth or something. It drives her nuts.
Oh, really?
She just starts rolling around.
Maybe I should try it again.
Yeah.
I know I used to buy all those toys with catnip. Never had it.
Well, no, get the spray. Because the toys never seem to work. You spray loads of it on them, they go mental.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it's such fun. It's such good fun.
Is it like squirting your cat with heroin?
No, because they don't bend over in half and stand there in a stupor. It's like giving some Sunny Delight to some 5-year-olds. They go nuts. It's like that time I accidentally gave Red Bull to a baby. It went bonkers.
Right, okay.
It went bonkers. No, it's thoroughly entertaining. They're fun cats, aren't they?
They are.
Oh, you've gone off cat since you got that flipping dog.
No, I tell you what, they are, and I do love my cat. And he is still the screensaver on my mobile phone.
But
you can do more with dogs.
Oh,
you can do more with dogs.
Right
to be honest, I mean, there is a place I love my cat.
Mate.
Of an evening, the cat is lovely. Lie in front of the TV, the cat curls up next to it, lovely. A dog. Well, I'm not having my dog on the furniture.
So you're just checking the calendar with the cat, waiting for it to go. Then.
But no, I hope he'll be around for many, many years. But the dog is more. You can do more with the dog. You can take it out. You can't take the cat out, can you? You can't put the cat in the footwell of your car.
There was a cat the other day that we had on here, on the Facebook page. Someone had taken it out for a walk on a lead.
Yeah, but they're weirdos.
Yeah, they are weirdos.
I mean, people who go out for a walk with a cat are weirdos.
You've disappointed me a little bit. I've gone off you a little bit.
But he's still my screensaver on my phone.
Well,
I love him.
What's on your show this morning, boss?
Coming up on the Big Phone in this morning, we're carrying on with this cannabis story you've been discussing this morning. Very interesting. I'm going to be asking from 9, do you have any sympathy for banged-up cannabis grower Anthony Loftman? Local people are signing a petition calling for the government to free a Stevenage cannabis grower from prison. 54-year-old Anthony Loftman was caught with 80 plants, but he says he uses them to manage his arthritis. This morning, the Hertfordshire Cannabis Club has described the 18-month sentence as an appalling miscarriage of justice. The cannabis Anthony grew had been valued at between £6,000 to £24,000. Well, I want to hear your thoughts on this morning from 9. We'll continue the discussion. Do you have any sympathy for banged-up cannabis grower Anthony Loftman? I'd love your call on 08459 455 555.
Roberto Perrone on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Tip-top etiquette expert William Hanson, who is not a fan of politicians oversharing.
Oh, good afternoon, Roberto. I feel slightly nauseous after that music. Thanks for that.
Every weekday from 3.
Let's talk to Harriet Harman, the leader of the Labour Party.
We've been in Bedford and Cambridge, and we've had very interesting discussions.
Let's talk cold callers. Do you have a tried and tested method of getting rid of cold callers?
You've got to make up a word before you go on the phone, and so you can fit that word in without them realising the most time.
Saying actually helps you feel calmer. Do you believe this, Sharon?
Definitely. And since I read that, I've been doing it, and I'm well chilled.
Roberto Perrone, weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I don't want pictures of dogs with their tongues out. I don't want pictures of cows with their tongues out. At Iain Lee, pictures of your cats with their tongues out, please, if you would be so kind. Now, here's a story that we saw in the Daily Mail today. Move to a care home. It would be like going back to a POW camp. Sunblast's council has 100,000 signed petition to keep World War II hero 96 in his home of 46 years. Isn't it interesting? They've had over 100,000 signatures. The petition for the gentleman sent to prison for 18 months with cannabis, 432. As a young prisoner of war, he survived the brutality of the Nazi death march across Europe. Now, 96-year-old Robert Clark, and there's a picture of him there, is engaged in a different sort of battle after a council refused to increase funding he needs for a live-in carer. Well, that's Robert Clark. His son is Mark Clark, who lives in Harpington, and he joins us now. Morning, Mark.
It's Mike, by the way. It's not Mark. Mike, thank you. Sorry. That's completely my fault. I do apologise. Thank you, Mike. Good morning, Ian. Tell us about Dad.
Yeah, well, he's a very interesting character. He's 96 years old, as you say. He's fully coherent and loves making decisions about his future life, really. And simply, he wants to stay at home for the rest of his days, which is probably not too much to ask.
He has carers going in at the moment. Does he have 4 visits a day?
Yeah, well, he has a 24/7 live-in carer, which he needs to have. He needs constant supervision because of his complex care needs. So she provides nursing and care support. And in addition, he gets other carers coming in each day. What the council don't want to do is recognise the cost that he's contributed for his live-in carer, which is pretty appalling, really. And I've been fighting that for the last 2 years.
We'll come on to the money in a second, Mike. What do the carers do? What does he need them there for? How do they help him?
Well, he's blind and he's partially deaf. He's got something called COPD, which is a respiratory problem. So he's got oxygen in the house. He can't walk now. He's lost use of his legs, totally immobile. And because of his prisoner of war experience, he suffers from bad dreams and hallucinations at times, which keep him awake.
What did he do in the war?
Well, he was a normal soldier, actually. He was captured in Tobruk in 1942, and he spent 3 years in a prisoner of war camp. And as you said in your introduction, he survived the Death March, as it was called. He walked for 1,000 miles in freezing cold conditions with very little food and very little shelter. Under armed guards, of course, and I think he's one of the oldest surviving prisoners of war from the Second World War now, at 96.
I tell you what's funny, and when I say funny, I don't mean laugh out funny, I mean ironic, is we got a news story about a footballer who's saying he wants more than £100,000 a week, and people, kids look up to him as a hero. Your dad's the genuine article, isn't he? He's a proper hero.
Well, we wouldn't be here today talking about him if people like him didn't do what they did 70-odd years ago. And the council don't recognise that, unfortunately. They don't treat him as an individual.
How do the breakdown... Because I'll give you a little bit of my background, Mike. My mum has got MS. She's nowhere near as old as this, but she had carers going into her home 4 times a day. And then we kind of did have to make the decision. I had to make the decision to move her into a care home. It is expensive, isn't it, having carers come each day and each week? How does the cost break down for you and your family?
Well, he pays for his living carer. We pay her, well, I do. I pay her a living wage. I don't know if you want to know the amount of that.
Well, if you're happy to discuss it, then do. I don't want you to say anything you don't want to say.
Yeah, well, he pays £600 a week for his living carer, and the other costs for the 26 hours per week cost £360. The council are only paying for that other part, the additional part. In other words, the people who come in, they won't recognise the contribution he's made towards his live-in carer. They don't regard it as what they call a disability-related expense, which is pretty poor, really. I mean, obviously, with your mum, you obviously made a decision that it's the best thing for her safety and her security. My dad is totally coherent. He wants to stay at home, and he thinks if he goes into a care home, then it will be like losing his freedom. His wife, my mother, actually died in a care home after being in a care home for 3 months, so that's also influenced his decision too. But the council don't respond to that. They don't treat him as his individual wishes. They call it value for money, and they treat him like an item on a spreadsheet. Really,
his savings are running out, which is why he can't afford the £600 a week for the living carer. Is that right?
It was a bit more than that previously, so I've managed to negotiate the money down slightly. But yeah, he spent £50,000 over the last 2.5 years, which has been his life savings, to pay for that live-in support.
Here's the question I'm going to ask. I don't like to ask it, but if I don't, someone else will. Yeah. It was a question that was asked to me loads, and I had perfectly good answers for it, and I'm sure you do. Why can't Dad come and live with you?
Well, our house isn't suitable. He's got very complex care needs. He needs 2 carers 3 or 4 times a day for hoisting and lifting. Our house would need to be totally reshaped. And he wants his independence. He loves living in his house. He's lived there for nearly 50 years. The other question you might ask is, well, why doesn't he use his house to get some capital? He doesn't. It's a fairly complex structure with the ownership of his house, and the Care Act introduced something yesterday called deferred payment arrangement. That's just a way, really, I think, of the council absolving some of their responsibility. Actually using someone's house to pay for their care costs when they've died. And also there's something called a direct payment, which is being kind of talked about quite a lot. And again, that's another way for the council to pass over responsibility to an individual or their family to manage all of the care situation. So I'd be very careful of these things called deferred payment agreements and direct payments for people who are listening.
What's going to happen? I know there's a petition that over 100,000 people have signed, and you can give that out if you want. What's going to happen next, Mike?
That's a very good question. There's 125,000 now. I looked this morning. There's lots of newspaper coverage today. As you said, the Daily Mail's covering it. The Daily Mirror as well, I think, today. There was a feature on RT News, which will go out later. My dad was interviewed yesterday. The council still aren't responding, actually. They're just keeping it straight at the same line they've done for the last 2 years. I'm kind of fighting and battling a fairly steadfast council organisation who've got loads of lawyers and solicitors working for them, and it's just me on my own. But now I've got 125,000 other people supporting me. But it's a good question. My dad is really anxious. He's worried. He's not sleeping well. He's worried about whether he's going to have to move out of his home, and he'll just give up if that happens. So I'm waiting to see.
Yeah, it's a horrible situation, and when it comes down to to pounds and pence and things like that, it's really unpleasant. Well, if people want to look at the petition, where can they find it?
It's on 38 Degrees Campaigns for You site. So they could go on that and just type in Robbie Clark. So again, that's been set up by other people who are really interested in my dad's care. So.
Mike, would you keep in touch with us and let us know how it goes and how Dad is?
Yeah, as I say, hopefully in the next few weeks we'll have some decisions. If not, then he's going to have to go into a care home, and that'll be the end of his day.
OK, maybe we'll give you a call in a week or so and just check how things are. I really appreciate your time and coming on at short notice this morning, Mike. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Iain.
Thank you very much indeed. There we go. What a nice bloke.
And I've just retweeted his tweet about with the link on it as well, so if anyone wants to see that.
I mean, it's just such a horrible situation. I've kind of just done a very, very rough sum using the figures that are in the paper and that he's given me. The council would save, if he moved into a care home, would save about £450 a week. That's about 23 grand a year. It's a lot of money, but he's 96, and as Mike said, he's only got a few years left. He's not going to be there for another 20, 30 years. Yeah. Oh, it's horrible, isn't it?
Well, Justin's going to go out on the streets for us and see if he can get some feedback on this, to see whether, someone's contribution to the country should give them any extra credits, so to speak. I mean, literally, credits.
It's a tough one. Well, let's give Mike a call maybe towards the end of next week
definitely.
Or the week after and see what's going on. Thank you for chasing that one up, Catherine. 8:30, let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, there are queues between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40, and the A1M southbound's busy through junction 7 for Stevenage, but it's also looking really busy on Broadhall Way in Stevenage in both directions at Gunnelswood Road. The CCTV control room said that's busy between the football ground and the A1M. In Luton on Stockingstone Road, that's heavy now at New Bedford Road between there and Vauxhall Way, and the A1 southbound starting to build up between the St Neots Junction and the Black Cat roundabout. On the trains, Virgin Trains East Coast are warning of possible 10-minute delays through Stevenage because of a problem with the line-side equipment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. I'm just about to retweet a picture of Rocky the cat. I hope you enjoy.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
With the headlines, I'm Simon Oxley. A second person will appear in court today, charged with the murder of a man whose body was discovered at a Buckinghamshire travellers' site. Rail passengers are facing Easter disruption due to major works at Watford. Parts of the West Coast Main Line will be shut, with Virgin trains running no further south than Milton Keynes. London Midland services will terminate at Hemel Hempstead. 7 party leaders will go head-to-head tonight in the main televised debate of the election campaign, and over 400 people have signed a petition to free a Stevenage man from jail after he was found guilty of growing cannabis. Anthony Loughman was jailed for 18 months, but the 54-year-old claimed he needed the drug to help manage the pain from his arthritis.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Liverpool and England forward Raheem Sterling has denied being a money-grabbing 20-year-old, despite there being no agreement on a new contract with the club. Sterling is thought to have turned down a deal worth £100,000 a week.
I don't think the public can see it that way. I think they just see it as this 20-year-old boy just being greedy. But I personally just want to take the time to think about where I have, what I've achieved in my career so far, and where I need to go and what I need to do to get better as a player.
The busy Easter football programme gets underway tomorrow with games for Wycombe, Luton, Stevenage and Watford. The League Two promotion battle continues tomorrow afternoon with third-placed Wycombe at home to Oxford. Luton will check on the fitness of striker Elliot Lee and skipper Steve McNulty as they host playoff rivals Exeter, with manager John Still facing criticism after a 6-match losing run.
What it is what it is, and whatever we have to go with, we'll go with, and we'll work as hard as we can and try and get ourselves back into that groove. Again, when it's tough, it's when people have got to stand up. Well, it's been tough. It's been tough. I've had it great here. It's been tough. Well, I'm sure I'll go a bit tough again. Just go and keep working hard and do what you always do.
And Stevenage now level on points with Luton, host Tranmere. The Borough have extended Bruno Andrade's loan from QPR until the end of the season. Second place Watford resume their Championship promotion challenge tomorrow evening. The Hornets go to 5th place Derby. In League One, MK Dons travel to promotion rival Swindon on Saturday lunchtime. And in rugby, Bedford beat the Army 47-24 in last night's Mobs Memorial match at Goldington Road. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road is where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. there's a world that's waiting to unfold. A brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll find what I call home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roll.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's a great picture in The Sun. There's loads of good little stories in the papers today. The last few days have been rubbish, but there's some really good ones today. You see the teacher trying to break a breeze block.
No.
Right.
Was this for a scientific experiment?
Yeah. So there's it's in America. There's a lad lying on the floor, bit of wood and a breeze block. Okay, on his chest.
Oh.
He's got a helmet on, so he's safe. He's got a helmet on.
Has he got safety specs on?
He's got goggles on and a helmet on. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
fine.
Okay, fine.
So a teacher's got an axe. Okay.
Hang on, the kid's got this breeze block on.
The kid's got the breeze. I say kid. I mean, there's like he looks 15, 16, 17, something like that. Okay. So he's got the breeze block. And the thing is, the teacher's showing that, but with the right force in the right place, you can break a breeze block like that. They're quite easy to break. It's very thin. Concrete. So
yeah, but you don't put it on a kid. You have it on you, don't you?
He's
you
lying
let
on the floor.
Go for it.
He's lying on. I wouldn't trust a kid with an axe, mate. I say it's an axe. I don't know if it's sharp. He's got like it's like a mallet or something.
Oh right, yeah.
So the kid's lying on the floor. He's got the breeze block. A
sledgehammer.
On his chest. Yeah, something like that. The teacher got his feet either side of the kid's legs. He swings, okay?
Oh, no.
He swings it down.
No.
Misses the breeze block.
No.
Hits him in the plums.
Oys.
Hits him right in the plums.
But a good teacher would turn that into a lesson.
This is the moment a teacher slams, it says an axe here, it's hard to tell from the picture, into a pupil's groin.
Eesh.
And why he was reportedly axed from his job. He was meant to smash a breeze block the student was holding. The agonising scene is thought to have been filmed in the US.
No, I don't even have that part, but even I'm wincing.
I would love to do that to certain members of my team. Paul Scoins!
Hi.
Morning, Scoinsy!
You're right.
Yeah, well, now, who am I speaking? Am I speaking to Scoinsy, Scoinhead? Or am I speaking to BBC Three Counties political reporter Paul Scoins?
You talk to whoever you want.
Are you drunk?
No.
Early morning scoins.
Have you been doing some investigative journalism into this cannabis story? Are you experiencing cannabis?
Yeah, it's my arthritis all over the shop.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Scoins, strange times for politics. Could you very briefly, because I've not read the email, and B, our listeners might be confused, we are deliberately not talking about politics specifically at the moment. Why is that, please? What are the rules?
Well, you are entirely able to talk about politics. You just have to make sure that it's a balanced representation of the party's views across the period of the election, Ian. So you can talk about politics to your heart's content.
Okay, but if I were to talk about a specific candidate standing in a specific area, would I then have to reference all of the other candidates?
Yeah, if you were talking about an issue about their area, their ward, for example, if they were standing as a councillor or if they were standing as an MP, it would be fair for us to hear a range of those views from the major parties across the campaign. So if you were going to talk about a ward issue, then you would need to hear about what the other candidates thought about. There are certain elements of how much time we can give to certain people, because some electorally kind of justify more sort of coverage.
I'm just going to stop you for a second, Paul. I'm just going to... Hang on a second. No, hang on. Just to make it a bit more... No, just to make it a bit more fun for the kids.
I can understand that.
I'm genuinely interested, but it's half-term and, kids will be going, Mummy, why are these two boring old men banging on?
Now there's a whole BBC initiative to get young people voting, of course.
Well, of course, UKIP don't want the young people voting. If there were to be a referendum... Are we allowed to talk about this?
Hang on, what? What do you mean? The UKIP don't want young people voting?
If there were to be a referendum into Europe... Did you read this?
Well, this is the 16, 17-year-old.
Yeah.
I did see that.
Are we allowed to talk about that?
Of course you can. I wasn't quite sure what their reasoning for it was.
No, the reasoning is, and I can't find. I heard it on the radio yesterday, and I saw it in the papers there. Now, of course, I can't find it. The UKIP reasoning is. Here we go. UKIP. This is in the Mirror. Okay, you've got to be aware that, of course, everybody is coming from a bias.
Yeah, the Mirror love UKIP, don't they?
UKIP pupils EU brainwash. UKIP said yesterday 16-year-olds should not vote in an EU referendum because they have been brainwashed by colouring books.
Oh, yeah.
Deputy Chairwoman Suzanne Evans accused the EU of pumping propaganda into primary schools. So basically they're saying they won't vote for what we want, so we don't let them vote.
Well,
anyway, listen.
I haven't been to a primary school for quite a while, so I don't know what they're teaching kids.
You will be in a couple of years, Scoins, when this career fails and you're desperately trying to find a job elsewhere.
I went to a primary school. I went to a primary school recently and taught them Spanish. Does that mean I was pumping EU propaganda into them?
Yes.
Probably.
Now the debate tonight, Paul. I'm not going to watch it because I bet it's really, really boring. How is it going to work?
I think there's 7 of them, aren't there? That's crazy. You just can't. Well, it's going to be a complete.
You nearly expressed an opinion there.
Nearly did.
Yeah.
7 people, 2 hours, ITV.
It can't work, can it? This is the nonsense that Cameron at work. Cameron, it seems to me, is the one that was holding off on this. It would, if we kind of believe the reports, and. At worst, he's probably going to get time for 2 really awkward questions thrown at him, isn't he?
Well, that's probably the reason that he wanted all of the people on board, because it dilutes everything. And, rather, as we saw with the other debate, which I have to admit I didn't see, I watched highlights.
Wow.
It was on Channel 4. I think that obviously throws into more clear focus of 2 people when you have it sort of just between 2 people, and when you have it between 7, it obviously just dilutes everything down a little bit. And but it would be interesting to see just whether or not all the other party leaders just turn on the Prime Minister and attack him, because that's obviously what he doesn't want. But for the smaller parties, if you like, this is a great bit of exposure in the midst of an election campaign that probably they wouldn't get ordinarily. So without these debates, you wouldn't hear from those smaller parties.
No monster raving loony party, which I think you need a bit of comic relief there, don't you?
It's a big mess. Yeah, who is in charge now? I don't know quite who the leader of that party is.
I don't think they had that.
Screaming Lord Sutton.
Yes, they just wander around aimlessly.
Although from your recent interview with the monster raving loony, I was surprised at the sort of seriousness of some of their policies.
Some of them.
You mean the mid-beds minx?
Whoa! Oh, now we've actually got to say it.
That's not her real name.
No, but now you've mentioned the region. I've actually got to say it, haven't I, Paul?
I don't think so. No.
She said the region and screaming Lord.
A full list of all candidates standing in the mid-Bedfordshire election are on the BBC app.
Now, earlier on, you may have heard, we had a little bit of fun. We played a little artsy, a little scene of what I imagined it would be like in your house, you watching the debate in your pants, and your wife calling you upstairs. Of course, that was cruel, that was rude of me. I believe that your wife isn't actually at home tonight, and you won't be wearing any pants.
Both of those are true.
That's a more accurate description. Is it a big night? Are you gonna get like Dominoes and sit there and watch it?
Hey, why not? You want to come?
No.
A few tinnies.
Okay.
I'm busy.
Really?
I'll be asleep.
I should watch it, really. 2 hours, though.
It's your job. I tell you what, Paul, to fill you with enthusiasm, it's the Kath and Iain show tomorrow. You watch it, and then we'll get you to describe it tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that. But we'll find a way of making it interesting.
Do I need to watch all of it?
Yes, you do. I'm going to ask you what happens at the beginning, the middle, and indeed the very end.
I've got an idea to pep things up. Why don't you play a game while it's going on and maybe have, I don't know, a list of phrases, and if you hear the phrase, you have to do a thing?
I can't play Grand Theft Auto at the same time as watching telly. It just doesn't work.
Paul, thank you very much. Speak to you tomorrow. Ta-ra.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are queues on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. On the A1 southbound, that's looking very busy between the St Neots junction towards the Black Cat roundabout. And in Luton, it's busy on Stockingstone Road eastbound between the A6 New Bedford Road and Vauxhall Way. In Harpenden on Luton Road, it's very slow southbound between Couters End Lane and Station Road. Samantha Breff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sammy. By the way, and I don't... I've got to say, the pictures of your cats with their tongues out are simply wonderful. Kath, what's that video I've just retweeted?
I'm just showing Kelly. It's somebody at the door. There's a cat holding onto the front door, but not at the bottom, halfway up.
They've rung the doorbell. At Iain Lee, if you want to follow those. I know, it's what the internet was built for. Cats with their tongues out. 8:46. It is Thursday, the 2nd of April. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A second person will appear in court today, charged with the murder of a man whose body was discovered at a Buckinghamshire Travellers site. Rail passengers are facing Easter disruption due to major works at Watford, and a petition has begun to free a Stevenage man from jail after he was found guilty of growing cannabis. Let's get the weather. Here's Elizabeth.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, very good morning to you. We've had a lot of cloud around, rather damp start to the day, but things are improving through the morning, and by the time we get to the afternoon we may even see a bit of sunshine, perhaps towards eastern areas, but a lot of cloud around at the moment, brightening up though as we speak, and by the afternoon it will be bright, I think, just about everywhere. Top temperatures up to 10 or 11 degrees Celsius, 52 in Fahrenheit. The winds are a lot lighter than they have been too, so just a gentle breeze through today rather than all that blustery stuff. Overnight tonight, then we'll start to see a return to the cloudy, damp conditions, outbreaks of rain into tomorrow morning, a mild night to come, lows of 6 or 7 degrees. Good Friday's looking rather wet. There'll be outbreaks of rain on and off through the day, really quite drizzly, perhaps clearing away for a time in the afternoon, but the rain never too far away. Still feeling mild, claggy. Top temperatures at 11 or 12 degrees Celsius, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, they'll be dry. A little bit cloudy, but dry, which is good for a bank holiday weekend. A few breaks in the cloud perhaps coming at times. That's the forecast.
Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Every day it's not just about great music and great conversation.
I'll get a bit technical here.
It's about local experts helping you across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
So what we're talking about then is capital gains tax potentially on the portion of the property that they directly own.
On finance, relationships.
But look at the way that you have contributed to this situation.
Health.
When you have a cough, which can seem quite innocuous in this way, but just irritating, asthma is something that we would think of.
Your pets.
Particularly if your dog is a border collie cross, it will be epilepsy.
And even law.
You still cannot say, Judge, you have to stick to this. But the judge's approach now is going to be, well, why shouldn't we?
Local advice for local people.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
OK, so Kelly broke the phones, did she? What did she do?
I don't know what's happened with the phones, but they've slowly died in the course of the morning.
Yes.
We can just about phone out, but we can't pick up.
Kath, you could pick up anywhere.
Well,
do you still like the One Show?
No.
Okie dokie, doggy, daddy. There's, I was going to say something, and I just had a little bit of. There's a local story in the Sun. Have you seen
another
this?
one?
Yeah. Luton lad.
Go on.
Luton lad went and got a classy tat done. He's he loves Jesus.
Right.
Have you seen this?
Oh, if it's the one I'm thinking of, I didn't realise it was local.
Yeah, he's local. Where have I've called it Jesus Tat, and it's page 37 of the Sun. Yeah.
Is it because it's Easter coming up? He's thought.
He's had Jesus tattooed on his arm down there, and I'll be honest, it looks blooming nut. It looked beautiful. It's exactly what Jesus would have wanted.
How does he know it's Jesus?
Huh? Well, it's Jesus. It looks like him.
Is it?
But he ran off. A brazen thief who ran from a tattoo parlour without paying for this £250 inking of Jesus is inking of being hunted by the cops.
Didn't he help himself to the contents of the till as well?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Did.
Look, the crook sat for 6 hours while the artwork was etched on his right arm, then fled as the artist called a colleague about payment. Parlour owner Joanne Baum, chicka wow wow, Baum, B-A-U-M?
Yeah, I'd say that.
Believes the man also took £1,000 from behind her counter. CCTV footage from the Red Ink shop in Luton shows the suspect stuffing cash into his jeans during a break before sitting down to have his artwork finished.
Cheeky swine.
He also had a praying hands tattoo saying, "Only God can judge me." Well, yeah, God, and ultimately, when they catch you, the judge. Okay. Joanne said it's ironic. He'd clearly decided to embrace Christianity, and one of their major beliefs is "Thou shalt not steal."
Hello, who's this?
I thought another one was "Thou shalt not get rubbish tattoos done of our Lord Jesus Christ." To have someone sit there for 6 hours talking about their life intimately, and then to do this is unbelievable. The suspect first booked his appointment 2 weeks ago and negotiated a discount from $420 to $250. Police said the well-built 6-foot suspect is thought to be Asian and in his 20s. From Luton.
And he's got 2 new tattoos.
Well, thing is as well, the Jesus tattoo, the head is kind of at the bottom of the shoulder.
What form is it? Is it Jesus on the cross? Is that what it is?
No, it's Jesus. It's Jesus doing that.
Oh.
And then it goes down, obviously, his arm. So even if you wore a T-shirt, you're still going to see Jesus' waist and legs.
Right.
So...
Bit of a giveaway.
We should have sent Just out. Maybe we'll send Just out on that next week to go and have a little look for Jesus Tapman. Someone will know this plum, won't they?
Well, yeah.
Why you got your arm covered up? Nothing. Why? Nothing. No reason.
You seem to in a bit of discomfort.
Since you turned to Jesus a few weeks ago, you're covering your arms like nothing. Nothing, Joss. What are you laughing at?
Nothing. Listen, I heard about this story 10 minutes ago. I thought it was a late April Fool's story, but no, it's absolutely true. Next week, I'm going to find this man, and I'm going to put the tough questions to him.
Well, where's in Reading? Where's that in? It says it's in Luton. I'm guessing there's a couple of tattoo parlours around. It might be worth having a little chat with them.
And vocal.
Well, Julia, let's join forces with Reading. Let's sponsor. The BBC officially sponsors Reading.
Have you seen this tat?
Have you seen this tat being worn by a twit?
Careful,
Andy. Hello, Andy.
You just said you couldn't receive calls, and I'm coming in on the line.
I can't.
That's wrong.
Oh, Catherine, hang on a second, Andy. You raise an excellent point, mate. Let me just turn to my team that spread the vicious lies. Katerina, what is going on with you, Katerina? I will have to send you back to Russia.
What I said was I can't pick up. Can't pick up. But Kelly can.
Oh,
it was Kelly.
Andy, that's not the impression she gave, Andrew.
Hey. Yeah. And then someone rang up. Yeah. Did you see what I did?
Oh, the impression she gave, Andrew, was that the phones were knick-knacked.
No, there you are.
Well, thank you so much. Have you called in for any reason other than to prove Katerina wrong before I send her back to Russia?
No, a couple of things. I think you ought to get J-Dog to ask a question to the public.
Well, Jay, you're speaking to J-Dog now, Andy. Away you go, mate.
You're through to me, Andy.
J-Dog, I think you ought to ask what has happened to Luton Town Football Club.
It's a very good question. I think some of the reasons which might come in, we might not be able to broadcast.
That's true.
To be honest with you. But it may be a question for another day, but unfortunately, Iain, he's been to one Luton Town game with me, Luton against Millwall, and it's scarred him for life. He's refused to go to a football match ever again.
Well, it was absolutely rubbish, mate. It was a horrible atmosphere. It was tense. It was unpleasant. There was racist chanting going on. It was horrible.
Sounds like your programme.
It sounds like the meeting after the programme.
Yes.
Anything else, Andy? Because you're boring me a little bit.
No, the other thing I was going to say was, why don't you like the One Show?
It's got nothing to do with the fact they sacked me just because I did a prank call to 5 Live once.
Oh, did they? Oh.
What? No, I don't know what you're talking about. It's boring, Andy. It's blandy, Andy.
I think it's good. Did you see it last night?
No.
Ricky Wilson was with Emma from The Voice. They seem to be getting on quite well to me.
Well, where's the interest in that?
Well, it's quite interesting.
But tell me what was interesting about it?
I like Alex Jones.
Thank you, Andy. Exactly. You like Alex Jones. That's the reason he likes it. Terrible programme.
Oh, I like Andy.
OK. Now, Justin.
Yes,
we sent you out on this story. Remind us of this story, Catherine.
This is the story of Robert Clark. We spoke earlier on to his son, Mike. Robert is in Brent at the moment. He's blind. He's 96 years old. And he survived the Nazi death march. He's a war veteran. And he wants to stay in his own home. His son thinks that given his contribution in the past, then it's rather mean of the council not to give him enough money to be able to stay at home. He can't afford the home care that would be necessary to meet his needs, and he doesn't want to go into a home. A petition's been launched online, and something like 125,000 people have already signed it. So we were asking the question, Justin,
do war veterans / heroes deserve special treatment? One person in this piece coming up here actually works for a council. We're not going to name him, so he's got a bit of an insight into what we're talking about here. One-way traffic on this one. Everyone's got the same opinion. Here's what people had to say this morning.
Definitely. They defend our country, put their lives on the line. They definitely do.
So the man we're talking about today, who needs extra funding, over 100,000 signatures, you're fully behind him.
Of course.
I mean, you're laughing about it. It's that simple for you. This man deserves special treatment for what he's done.
If someone put their lives on the line to defend our liberties, defend this great country of ours, definitely do.
Thanks for your time.
All right.
Do you think, sir, that war veterans do deserve special treatment in this country?
Yes, they do. Yeah, it sounds fair to me. Fought for us, so why not? You should get everything you should for free.
I mean, even though councils are struggling and they're saying he's not a special case, is he a special case?
Yeah, he is a special case.
Do you think, because he's a war veteran, that he deserves special treatment?
I think he does. People should respect what someone's done in the past, especially for their country.
So despite this council saying he's not a special case, in your opinion, because of what he's done, he is a special case?
I believe he is, yes, definitely.
But where do you draw the line, though? It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, but the only problem is the government has cut funding so badly that most councils have got no money anymore, and it's a very difficult decision. In actual fact, it's the government's fault, not the council. They should give them more money. They've had their funding cut by probably 20%, and they've now got a future further 20% cut as well.
So despite the cuts, though, the council we're talking about here in question, they should find that money. They should find it somewhere for this man and his current plight.
Yes, I believe so.
Justin, great stuff. We've only got a minute left, and I have to tell you, I'm looking at Gavin Shuker's nipples.
Are you?
Have you seen this?
No, I've seen him. What is it about Gavin Shuker? Before we saw him in... what was he wearing before?
A balaclava.
He had a balaclava.
Well, I wish he were wearing it now. There's an article which Paul Scoins has sent me in the Daily Mail. 3 MPs have busted the fat. Can you see it, Catherine?
I'm not going to be able to unsee this, am I?
I can see Gavin Shuker's nipples.
Here's a question for next week. You name me a more handsome MP.
Oh, no, we can't have that conversation.
We can't have that conversation. Not until after the election.
Oh, we've got to invite every single MP on to defend
exactly.
themselves.
Justin, thank you very much. Are you on tomorrow, Just? What are you doing?
No, I'm not on tomorrow or Saturday. I'm back on Monday after you, 9 until 12. Brilliant. 3 hours of great music.
Thank you very much indeed. If you want to see Gavin Shuker's nipples, he's done a thing. Him and 2 other MPs have decided to lose weight, and it involves some rather personal photographs. If you go to the Daily Mail website, it's there. Catherine, it's you and me tomorrow, the Kath and Iain show.
Yeah.
Just playing records and looking at the papers.
Yeah, we'll be keeping our clothes on. Won't we?
Oh. I may not be able to come in then.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's slow on the M25 anti-clockwise around junction 16 for the M40, and it's also busy on the M25 junction 21A roundabout on the North Orbital Road. In Hertford on the speed sensors, the A414 is looking slow eastbound between Thieves Lane and Cross Lane, and the A1 southbound is busy from the St Neots junction towards the Black Cat roundabout. On the trains, Great Northern and Virgin Trains East Coast have 10-minute delays through Stevenage because of a problem with the line side equipment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Samantha, thank you very much indeed. At Iain Lee, if you want to have a look at the nonsense I've been tweeting on Twitter. I won't tweet Gavin Shuker's nipples. I'll leave that as a little something that you can have a look for yourself if you want on the internet. I won't get involved with that. Tomorrow 6 till 9, slightly different show. It's the Kath and Iain show. We just play records, go through the papers. If we can get the phones working, you'll be more than welcome to call in. Until then, from us, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Thursday. It's 9 o'clock. And on today's Big Phone In, do you have any sympathy for banged-up cannabis grower Anthony